Check 1 2, check 1 2. There we go. All right. And welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and we're back again for another awesome adventure where we're going to be talking about a lot of news and updates that are coming up to the One Piece TCG. We have a lot. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this stuff on social media. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing on Twitch, on Twitter, on all the Reddits and all the stuff that's happening. There's some massive news coming out from One Piece that came out just this weekend. And because I was doing the pre-release for all the new Marvel stuff and having so much time with the new Marvel games and all the other adventure stuff that we were doing at Lifelink Games, I wasn't able to cover that and tell you guys. I wasn't able to get live and tell you guys, oh my gosh, look out for this stuff. So here's my opportunity to kind of like give you guys an update of what's happening in the One Piece and Bandai in general news and updates. We got some card reveals, we got some starter decks, we got a lot to cover with the major events coming up, some that I'm going to be planning on attending. Hopefully you guys will be planning on attending. Some news for you and some tricks of the trade to get yourself into the running for some of these things. Like there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of big drops that I think might be tonight, and we're going to talk about that when we get there. But we also have some awesome gameplay. We have some great decks, some great players who are trying out this new meta here. We've got a 2-week behind status right now, behind Japan and the East, and what's been happening out there for their card game. And we're getting real close now to the point where we're going to be simultaneous release, which I believe is OP17, perfect for the anniversary coming up this August. We're going to be tied up with OP17, and that's going to be a big deal for a lot of reasons that I'm going to discuss today at my opening monologue, where I talk about all the different events and stuff that are happening for One Piece and what's happening this summer. There is a tremendous amount of things that Bandai is coming out. They're pulling out all the stops. There's this tournament that I know most of you guys are talking about, and hopefully I'll be going with a large crew of people out there this September, and we're going to go into further details with that when I get to that section. I just want to say first, welcome to the channel. If you're here on YouTube and you're watching this VOD, and I hopefully have made a video out, I don't know if I'm going to make a video out of this one. I honestly, I don't know if it's just going to be too late for the rest of the people out there. I've been working on shorts and working on some really cool stuff. So I guess this will just be straight to Twitch. You guys can see the VOD and you can watch the VOD of the live stream on YouTube. If you're doing that, awesome. Thank you. Welcome. I don't really get to see a lot of stats when it comes to after I go live on YouTube. It's kind of a shame. But if you're here watching that, hit a comment, let me know. It'll hit me up and let me know that you guys are watching those VODs. I know a lot of people watch VODs on Twitch, which I do appreciate. I really enjoy you guys going back and watching the Twitch VODs. It does help you avoid all the commercials and all the nonsense, which I don't blame you. But it also means that the channel doesn't get any kind of credit for you watching them. So it's good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Please keep watching. I love seeing the numbers. Just sadly, it does nothing for the channel because of the way Twitch algorithm works and the way that they do the payments. Twitch only cares when I'm live, like right now. That's all they care about. So when I get these little commercial breaks at the 30 an hour marks, that's when they give a crap. And that's when they pay me the 15 cents for the hours of work I put into getting each one of these streams ready for you guys. Uchiha says, oh, good you noticed I said it before you could say it. Yeah, I'm trying my best to learn from all the mistakes. I mean, it's been 2 years here, and I'm still having the same basic problems with, like, some of my computer setups. The transfer and what really happens, and it makes my situation a little more unique than others to a degree, is the fact that I do live streams here and I also do live streams over Lifelink. So when I'm trying to use the same account, bouncing back between the two platforms, trying to use different layers, trying to use different live feeds. Of course, I'm going live to different YouTube channels because I had to keep all my IPs unique to make things interesting, or to make sure that the YouTube doesn't punish me for people who only like One Piece versus the people that might like Union Arena. Maybe they'll like the Gundam stuff that I do on Fridays, and maybe they'll like some of the Riftbound stuff that may or may not be turning into itself into something. That is something that we might have bitten off more than we can chew when it comes to content creation for some of those other games. And I do know that I want to make room for the up-and-coming next year Naruto TCG. That's going to be coming out because, of course, I am going to begin to it. Bandai, by far, while not my main game, is really kind of like my premier company that I like to support. For a lot of reasons. They're the only company that seems to have worked out the methodology of good distribution for quality of cards. I mean, the card quality, again, it's just absolutely the best. You're going to have the only people that listen to the surveys and they try to make changes. They're, of course, growing into this new firm and this new way of doing tournaments that they're not used to. So they're a little bit behind some of the bigger ones like Magic the Gathering, even Riftbound, who was able to reuse a lot of the equipment for their live streams from the League of Legends stuff that they've been doing, and some of the other tournaments that, like Pokemon, who's been around for gosh knows how long. And now Bandai's kind of moving itself in there. And if you honestly ask me, UA notwithstanding, UA, I think, has its own issues, but I think every card game has its own issues. If you guys have been on this channel and been listening to me and watching me for as long as I've been, for like 2 years up here, you do know that I do have some gripes about some of the things, but for the most part, Bandai is the one that wants to correct it. I've been screaming to the moon about all the stuff that Magic the Gathering has been doing, and Wizards of the Coast has been kind of squeezing that golden goose. And while I still play the game, still enjoy it, still play limited, still have a great community at Lifelink Games that I enjoy spending time with, by far, probably what makes the game even fun is just the community itself, given that Magic the Gathering is just putting out and pumping out sets every other month. And not only that, it's just like a massive amount of money. And when you in the arena, it's like, okay, cool, we're going to do it once a month. You don't have to buy into every IP of Union Arena. And on top of that, to get a playset or at least a deck in Union Arena costs me like $50. To get something in the ongoing formats when it comes to Magic the Gathering, hundreds of dollars, issues upon issues, hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars to get yourself a decent competitive deck. And that's if you're willing to take the time to grind that circuit. And of course, you got like the limited amount of like events and stuff that some of the stores can hold, but the bigger events, of course, are being kind of stingy on. Magic Fest only happening like 3 times in the US per year. Great events. I'm going to this one in Atlanta I'm looking forward to, but every game and every company, you're always going to have problems. You're always going to have some issues. Union Arena, it's sitting on a defense of needing some mechanic fixes. And they're doing some changes and they're doing some things that I do appreciate, where they're trying to fix the way the pricing works, and they're trying to figure out how to overcome this massive shipping issue that we're having for a lot of this game right now. If people have been paying attention, Union Arena kind of started off with this really bad history of they were pumping out too much product. Not every IP was beloved. Not everyone was buying it all. Stores were getting nervous. They didn't want to send in a lot of product. If you don't know what owning a store is and having a lot of product, and you don't have that kind of capital to sit on that product, it's very dangerous. You're kind of running on those thin margins, and having a lot sit on the shelf and kind of collecting dust is not good for a card shop. So given that, people started calling back their orders. They started saying, all right, I can't get into this too much. I gotta dial back a little bit more. And that kind of punished them, because then the orders end up coming lighter. And now that the game's actually becoming a little more official and more like seriously mainstream, there are thousands of people, hundreds of people in Virginia alone that play this game. This game has gotten a lot of credibility. The price in the market has been rectifying itself. The ones and the 2 stars and the 3 stars have great value. The card game is still entertaining. It's great for new players. You're still able to play with your favorite IPs, and they're working on some of the balancing issues with that. But for the most part, the card game is actually being accepted as one of the legitimate top 10 card games that people can get into, and no longer that fear factor that most people had, where like, is this just going to be a quick pump and dump like we've seen from a lot of the individual creators and some of these other card games, which is being just absolutely insanely flooded at the moment, and it kind of always has been. If you guys look back and you look at Wikipedia and you see all the different card games and TCGs that have ever existed, there's hundreds of card games out there that people have been trying to make work and trying to make a thing. Naruto, this isn't even their first rodeo. I played the old Naruto TCG. I actually had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it didn't get enough favor, and I think after about 5 months, it just fell under, and no one played the game anymore, and then I was stuck with all the cardboard that really didn't do me any good. And I think now that the formula has been kind of fixed for Bandai, and they've done a better job of kind of like fixing a lot of the issues that they had with the way the mechanics work, the resources being outside of the game, the printing issues that are going to get only more complicated with another introduction of another game. Hopefully this will incentivize us to open up more printing presses, some with some better quality control, maybe incentivize some good business here. I'm hoping someone will capitalize on that. I know that if I had the hundreds of thousands of dollars and looking at what the market has been doing, and if I had the money, I would just start my own printing press. I'm not going to lie. If I ever win the lottery, it'll be probably one of the side businesses I open up. I'm just going to open up this massive printing press, get a bunch of jobs for people to help do this stuff, and start opening up into it. Because there's one thing I love about being a TCG streamer, a guy that covers all of these various TCGs that I play and have a lot of fun playing and doing, and I've been doing my entire life, just playing these TCGs, is it's really becoming the last bastion of credible gaming. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of you guys are back at home thinking, what do you mean the last bastion of credible gaming? Guys, the market of TCGs right now is one of the last few games that you're actually going to be able to own. Something that I've had many conversations, especially with most of you guys at home, Uchiha definitely being one of them, and I've said a lot of this with my friends, and I always talk openly about this. TCGs are a game that you can own, and you can't have that taken away. And the digital media, as we've been saying over and over again, they're taking the DVDs away, they're taking away the CDs, they're taking away your ownership to the Spotify, the way that you listen to music, the way you do things with iTunes and all the rest of that stuff. You can't, video games are becoming more and more where they're trying to just tell you the digital ID code, so if they want to turn on the server. I'm sure you guys have seen all the stuff with Stop Killing Games and the rest of those things, and people just not having the systems anymore and the servers to support it. We all kind of saw the writing on the wall way back when they're like, well, you have to have an online account to even access your game. And then you got the updates. And when you get the game, it's not even the full game. It's missing some update pieces that you have to download. And then you only have so much memory on the thing that you got to buy these these extra edition memory devices for your consoles and whatnot. And then people start going to PC and noticing that some of the PC stuff are like, oh, the servers are being shut down and they're not supporting the game anymore. They're really trying. And a lot of the corporate gaming sphere to take away the capability of a person like me and you to own said game because they want to make money on re-release of the same stuff and putting a little like sprinkles on it and then saying, hey, here's Zelda. Hey, here's the same Zelda game. Hey, here's the same Zelda game. Pay us $50 again. Pay us $50 again. And not letting you own that thing because if you're like, well, why would I pay you $50? I already own the last one. If I want to replay it, I'll replay it. But like, it's corporate greed, guys. And it's one of the things where TCG is the last bastion of owning things. And if there's anything that I can tell you, I am not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you how to spend your money or how to own your money. I am a guy who does a lot of portfolio with sealed product and open product. I have a lot of open product. I open a lot of stuff and cards, but I do a lot of investing on holding on to the cards and the cardboard. Some of you guys might be out there. It's like, oh, this is a game first. You shouldn't be using it. It's the last bastion of owning stuff. And if you guys know anything about the rich, and I'm sure you guys, this isn't being political, this is just being topical. There's been news about we have a new trillionaire, at least a known trillionaire, in Elon Musk. Elon Musk doesn't have trillions of dollars in money in his bank. Let's just be honest. He's not sitting there with a bank account that's accruing interest over the trillions of dollars. Elon Musk owns rockets, owns companies, owns businesses, owns factories, owns business buildings, owns the programs and applications and jobs. He owns things. He owns property. His valuation of being a trillionaire is because he owns things. And things, when you have a market of constant inflation and constant depreciation of the dollar and constant depreciation of things that happen in society, like just everything's getting more expensive and all that, and with that, things you own go up in value depending on what a customer is willing to spend or capable of having. And when people realize that and they're like, hey, I don't want you owning the video game because I can make double the money on that thing, and then you can't resell said cartridge for hundreds of dollars, or the game station that still might be functional and working for hundreds of dollars. Or you can't own these different computer pieces that aren't being like completely like basically rotated out every year because of being obsolete. They're starting to take away your capability as a human being to own things. I know that a lot of younger generations are having struggle with the housing market, which my personal prediction, this is just a sidetrack, I think we're going to have probably another housing crisis where you guys will be able to afford houses again. Stick around for that. I don't know when it's going to happen, but life is a cycle. It repeats itself. But I know that like it's getting harder and harder to own houses and own property and own land and own all this stuff. And it's getting ever more impossible to do that. TCGs, it's one of the last bastions of things you can own, resell for your own value, and get into it. I mean, it has created a lot of problems with corporate greed. You got the scalpers, and you got the rest of the people trying to pretend like they're doing work and buying the stuff and reselling it to other people for a massive markup. Yeah, you have all that junk. Don't get me wrong, but it also has an opportunity for you as a person to have something that can accrue, bring interest, and honestly, it beats most of the market. Unless you're following some politician's investment portfolio and have hundreds of thousands of dollars to make money on the stock market. Let's be honest. This is about the only thing you and I are going to be able to afford to invest in. And don't buy all the hype for the Logan Paul and all the rest of the guys, and the way that they're kind of screwing these card games up. I digress. The point is, this is the last bastion. These are things you can own, guys. And it's getting harder and harder for people to own things as we keep going on. As if we don't get together as a people and stop this nonsense and just stop participating in this nonsense, it's just going to get worse. And I honestly don't think there is a way that I can convince gamers or even the rest of society to realize that we're on a trajectory that is not so great. I don't want to be in a world where I have to rent a hammer. I don't want to be in a world where I have to rent a toilet seat or be in perpetual debt for the rest of my life because I can only rent things and I can never own anything and get myself out of an issue. Like I've told you guys multiple times, I love that people have had car problems, they've had medical issues and whatnot, and they've always had something to lean on and be able to pay for it. And instead of going into critical debt and being basically a slave to these credit cards or whatever company and those interest rates, they had the capability of selling some loved and beloved collection cards, but they were able to sell them back to a store or whatnot to keep the engine of the market going and pay those bills off without getting to the point where it could have crushed them. It could have killed them. And I appreciate the fact that the opportunity exists. It sucks that they have to because of situations that life happens, but it's nice that they had that option. Whereas if you had like a digital game, it's not like you're going to sell that digital game that you've been pumping hundreds of dollars into to anybody to make that doctor bill. Uchiha says, my biggest issue with UA is I could very well be wrong about it, but it feels like it's a distribution issue. There's a huge distribution issue that's happening with Union Arena. They have not recovered. They have not increased the amount of product they're making available for everybody else. The stores are getting ever smaller and smaller orders. We haven't met our requested order since the beginning of the set releases, when we actually got maximum order and we got everything we wanted. And then ever since that little like hump of oh wait, people are actually taking this game seriously, it just hasn't been the same. We've put in, I think, orders for roughly 6 cases, and we might get 2 if we're lucky. Uchiha says, another thing that TCGs have that video games don't is actually playing at the table with your friends. I'm an introvert, but even I still like human interaction. You know, honestly, interaction is kind of necessary. Believe it or not, guys, social media, not the greatest way to interact with people. You're dealing with a lot of fake people. You're dealing with a lot of fake personalities. You're dealing with a lot of people who are hiding behind the camera to do awful things and say awful things, and sometimes saying good things that they want you to believe but aren't actually the truth. Not to mention, it is an absolute human necessity for human interaction. It doesn't need to be necessarily with a partner, but you need to have human interaction. There are studies that have been done from space astronauts that can only sit up for so long. It is against the Geneva Convention to put someone in isolation for more than 24 hours because human interaction is that necessary for human sanity. So if you really want to get into a game and something that I think I would definitely preach back to other people, that's not gambling to your point where you're losing everything and you're just crapping money away chasing that high. It's not drugs. It's not wasting money on digital crap that's just going to fall apart and be redone with something else. You get yourself into a game that requires you to be social, requires you to leave the house, touch the grass, as they say, forces you to read, something that's been a dying breed in a lot of society, and something that I really want to encourage people. Seriously, guys, you got to start reading. You got to do something to read, something to keep your brain enhanced. And on top of that, something that challenges you as a person and doesn't leave you droned out with the blinking lights that seem to be the more and more popular forms of entertainment for the masses. Like you get the I'm sure you guys have all seen all the complaints about the scrolling on TikToks and the short form content, and that I don't even really like it. But really, really, really into CrossFit. Hey, good. Love TCGs for encouraging critical thinking too. Yes, exactly. Thank you for the first time comment. I think it's a first time comment. It doesn't say it is. But exclamation point join if you want one of the free packs to give away. Really, really into CrossFit. We do have 2 packs to give away at the end. I'll talk about that in just a minute. It is a community box, and these there's only been one hit, and it's a secret rare, so that means the alt's still alive, and those things are really highly priced right now. Uchiha says, playing at the table with people is like the old days when a bunch of friends played games on the couch. It really is. It's like when you used to have the LAN parties. You got the social interaction, and you got to have the time with people. So the fact that you have to force yourself into an event where you're socializing with people, you're interacting with stuff that you can resell and has some value, and on top of that, you're forcing yourself to have to use your brain for something other than just like a milking farm. Some of you might get that reference, but you actually have to use critical thought and processing. You want to get your kids set up for life, get them into playing games, guys. Get them into playing TCGs. People, even though it's a joke that people don't read the card, because yes, we'll misread things and go too fast. And at the end of the day, you gotta read the card to understand the card. You gotta understand the battle space. You gotta free think something that's not being pushed enough. Something that really needs to be pushed in today's society. There needs to be more about free thinking and thinking for yourself and trying to, recognize these patterns. And it's honestly a habit that I hope never dies. Good to see you. I hope that we never have an issue with having people just forgetting how to critically think about problem-solving issues and getting through there, because those are the things that are going to separate a lot of society from the successful and the non-successful in the end of the day. Let's just be real about it, guys. If you're willing to challenge yourself and push yourself to get overcoming certain barriers, what better way than to learn how to lose and a thing that doesn't matter about losing, how to overcome said thing of losing and become a better person from it, and use that experience to do that in your life with whatever goals you might have, right? Curly, good to see you. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we are live on YouTube as well, so if you guys want to enter twice, let me know. All right, off the soapbox, I think you guys get my point. TCGs are the last bastion, guys. If you really want to say something, I know that the bubble's about to come. We'll probably see it bubble. We'll probably see another bubble. We'll probably see another bubble. But when it comes to TCGs, there's never a safer game than something that they cannot take away from you. You, at the end of the day, will have this. If the game goes away, there's still people that want to play it from back in the day and have the member berries. There's still people buying Teletubbies. There's still people buying the Beanie Babies from that old craze. There's still people buying the old Transformers who are going through the midlife crisis. I'm just kidding. There's still people getting into it that you can resell these items, and it is becoming less and less of something that you're going to see in society as we keep growing. So I am going to push from the top of my platform that I possibly can for the rest of my life. TCG should be the way to go. It puts and promotes everything I like, and it's stuff that you guys should be wanting to have. And speaking of that, we're gonna go start talking about some card reveals. Before we do, 2 packs from our community box. Pick now. We've had one hit, secret rare. What was it? It was the secret rare Marshall G. Teach. That's what's in the box, which is really good news, because usually when you get secret rare, most times when you get secret rare, that means a 3-hit box. Most. If you guys look at the ratios for hit ratios, secret rares have a better quantity of 3-hit box hits for your ratios. So that means there's a good chance there's going to be an alt-art or something in here, maybe an alt-art leader, hopefully an SP, and even possible a manga, which would blow my mind. I would love to give away a manga for free. But all I need from you on YouTube or on Twitch, make sure you hit ! join, and at the end of the stream, we're going to be giving these 2 packs away free of charge out to the rest of you. All right. Without further ado, let's talk about some new card reveals. All right, starting off with Kinemon Green Characters, Star Deck 32. This is another one from the new Star Decks. These are going to be ever more important. You guys are going to need to know what these cards do, because we're getting very close to a tournament that I'm going to talk about right after this. On play, you may rest one of your / attribute leaders or Dawn cards. Draw 2 cards, trash 1 card from your life. So really good early game play. This is your new kind of like searcher, if you will. Good draw engine. You're seeing a lot of this increase into the way that One Piece has been playing. It used to be look at the top 5, you reveal. They're starting to see that there's a lot of power in not knowing what your opponent has. And there is a lot to be said about revealing the card. It is a lot of knowledge. Sometimes you tell people when you pick a 2K out of the top 5, you're probably low on counter. If you pick something that is a non-counter. You probably have plenty of counter, and you're just trying to set up for a later turn for big play. There's a lot of information you can garner from the top 5 reveal, and that's one of the things that those legacy players, people who've been playing TCGs for a long time, realize information is critical. The more information you have makes you the most accurate as a player, and if you maintain that knowledge, you're going to be more successful in a lot of your games and matches. Sermon, good to see you. Curly says there's definitely a manga in there, and it's got to be me. All right, well, I hope so, Curly. I hope so. I would absolutely love to give one. Trust me, I will clip the crap out of that. I will push that on every social media. I will make sure that's my top priority to go out there and put every sound effect I could possibly imagine to saying, hey, look at me. I just gave away thousands of dollars in cards. Or $1,000 card. Let's go. Which, by the way, I actually have done in some of the other TCGs. Some of the cards have actually crawled up to $1,000. So it's not the first time I've given out a $1,000 card for free. All right. Next one from the Star Deck 31, Blocker Jimbei. On play, draw 1 card, and then play 1 Straw Hat card type with a cost of 1 from your hand. I mean, this could set you up for a nice little search. You could play... There are some 1-drops from the Star Deck that can be kind of nice. Of course, you have the ones that enable the Rested Dawn cards and the other help other bodies, and something you're really going to need in today's meta, because there's a lot of low bodies that you really need to have some answers for. So, I mean... Not the greatest. It is a blocker. But, I mean, on play, you just draw a card, and you have the option. It doesn't look contingent. Those that know anything about rulings, usually there's like some kind of like something has to happen. There's nothing that says that you have to play 1. Then just play 1 if you have 1. It's a card that replaces itself. It's a blocker. It's not terrible, and has a chance to actually go for 2 for 1 if you have a searcher. So actually, not bad, not bad. Now we got Kobe, a blocker 2 for 2. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand and draw a card. That's the Kuzan thing, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at this Kuzan deck and I'm not too impressed. I'm not. I was really hoping they were going to give Kuzan what it really needed, was a big top end, some big game ender, something that really helped finish and close games out, and. Everything I've seen from the starter deck has not impressed me so far. I still hold out because we haven't seen everything yet. These starter decks are going to be coming out very, very soon here in July. So stay tuned for what the final lists are, but not entirely impressed with what's happening here. Charlotte Brule, 1 cost on play. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Big Mom Pirates card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So you got your 1 cost Searcher. To 3, I guess it's the 2K counter that's making it 3 and not 5, and that's where the power kind of like balancing is for this one, because it is nice to have a 2K even with a Searcher in the late game. So pretty powerful. This will definitely be an addition to anything in the Big Mom Pirates deck, because Searchers, as we know, are important to make sure consistency at the end of the day. Then we got Cavendish in yellow, 3 cost counter 2K. On KO, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Okay. Another Cavendish that is a nice little 2K that is not necessarily something you want to run into. It's not terrible at the 3K, only because there are a lot of people playing these low weenie decks right now. So I would say that that's not absolutely the worst. However, anything that you have to invest on in to get an attack in, especially with the way everyone's playing like these 2K till end of turn kind of nonsense, these have a late game no good feeling to them. But overall, not terrible. It's not the worst card. It's definitely not the best, but it is something you're going to want to look into. And I think the lack of trigger is probably what's going to be the biggest difference maker here, because yellow really likes to have some kind of trigger here to keep the engine going. Karasu, when attacking, you may trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hand, your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. All right, they get to choose. I think we've been over this card before. I think we've seen this one before. If I remember correctly, we were talking about this one before, and it's okay, guys. I like the constant hand hate, but it probably won't stick around for longer than 1. The 2K counter is probably the best part about that card. Brooke, opponent's turn. If you have a total of 3 or more given Dawn cards, this character gains blocker and plus 3,000 power. All right, that's actually really good. A 6,000 2-cost blocker, and the whole thing's about allocating Dawn, so that's pretty good. Silver's Relay, former Roger Pirates. Papa Squizzer, good to see you. Hazelnuts, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining the chat. I'll get you out of the wheel here shortly. If your leader has a slash attribute, this character gains a rush. So a nice little Zora or Mihawk card. On play, rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters that cost 2 or less. I mean, this is a great answer to what's happening in the meta right now. A lot of low to the ground decks. Like, if you guys have been seeing the Goofy deck, that's like one of the top 3 decks in the meta right now. That's pretty good. Smile Hoodie, good to see you. Thank you so much. All right, we got Smoker, 2-cost Navy, counter 2K. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Place up to 2 of your opponent's characters that cost 2 or less to the bottom of their owner's deck. I know we've talked about these last week. These are looking really familiar. I thought I hadn't covered these things. But yeah, I was talking about how a lot of these things playing with the 2K is really playing into the meta we're currently playing in. And Nell's playing 2K bodies. So everyone's playing Searchers. Wiper is getting now very popular as a card to play in yellow decks because it kills all those. It has a reduction at all 2K and then can basically KO a field. So a lot of these cards, yeah, we did cover these before. Let's see. I think this is where we might have left off here. 1000 Sunny on play. Look at the top 5 cards. Reveal up to 1 card of Straw Hat type. Add it to your hand. Then place the rest in the bottom in order. Rest of stage. Give up to 1 of your Monkey Luffy's 1 Rest of Dawn. That's awesome. Stages are hard to remove. This is a guaranteed removal. I know that a lot of people have been playing with those give arrested Dawn cards like the Namis and the girl and all the rest of the cards that they're kind of like unique to making sure that your leader always has 1 Dawn attached in every turn. This is great. And there are a lot of cards that are playing on rest of stage or rest of card. So this will actually have a lot of value. It's a very strong card. This will be a new staple for Straw Hat decks. On play, draw 1 card, then play up to 1 character with a cost Straw Hat with a 5 or less other than Sanji. Okay. I can see this one. You draw a card, you play Jinbei, and then you play another 1 cost. That could be a pretty devastating board. And on 7 Dawn, you would basically have a 5k Rusher, another 5k body with Jinbei, and another 1 cost with +3 cards, which kind of is like what Red lacks, honestly, is some draw engine. So that's pretty strong. Kozuki Odin on play, draw 1 card up to 1 of your opponent's characters with original cost 6 or less cannot be rested until your opponent's next end phase. That's quality. I like it. Freezes it. Freeze is probably one of the most busted ways of removal or control nowadays, considering everything has anti-removal. Borsalino, all right, so here we go. Finally something decent for Kuzan, we'll see. If a card from your hand has been trashed through the effect of this turn, give this card -3 cost, so it's a 3 cost blocker. No, that's not power. That's just a nice little, that's like Raid Suit Sanji with extra steps. Charlotte Katakuri, on your turn once per turn, when a Dawn card is on your field is returned to your Dawn deck. If your leader has a Big Mom Pirates, add up to 2 Dawn. All right, cool. So you can just swap it back and kind of ramp out with this one. And in earlier stages, 5 costs, it's really nice. A lot of times we see this effect on 8 costs, which always feels like counterintuitive because it's like, I don't mind losing the Dawn. I'm just going to get it back next turn. On KO, play up to 1 of your characters with 8,000 power less. That's super strong. If this was a blocker, this would be insane. But it is a nice little deterrent because as we've seen, even the Nami that puts out a 6k power, that one's already annoying to get yourself into. Oh, look at this. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't miss your comments down here. American Ninja Warrior Scout, I own my own depression, and I am not the one to take it away from me. And thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the exclamation point joins on YouTube. I own my own depression. You can't take it away from me. That was a good... I wish I would have saw that in the timing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This character gains +3 cost. Good. Okay, so we're getting closer to the new... we got a leader reveal today that might help us out, but that's not high enough yet. We'll see. On play, give up to 1 Rested Dawn to 1 of your leader cards, then play 1 Revolutionary Army type character with 4,000 power less from your hand, or trash. That's pretty good. That has some good combo synergistics from it. I know it's got to be Revolutionary Army, and everyone's like, I want to get back Rebecca. This isn't bad, though. This is pretty good. It's a good Kuma. That's going to be a staple. Means the Sabo deck's definitely going to be worth picking up, because those will be locked in the Sabo deck. Killer, Supernova Kid Pirates. Once per turn, if your leader is a Kid Pirates type, add up to 1 of card from the top of your deck to your life cards. I mean, this should make some of my friends happy. This is a Supernova card, but it does say you have to have the Kid Pirates type leader. So, unfortunately, yeah, not going to help out the Law fans. If your opponent has 3 less life, play this card. Not bad. Alright, Scratch Mana Poo, trigger, draw 1 card, then your leader as a supernova type, becomes 7,000 base power on a turn. Well, this is pretty good for... It's a 2K. It's got a good trigger. This is pretty good. Pretty decent for the Trafalgar Law players. Then we have another Zoro Rush character, 1 cost. Interesting. If your leader has the slash attributes, rest up to 1 of your opponent's character that costs 2 or less. Alright, well there you go. Kills the weenies. That's actually pretty powerful. This is at a 2K. This is pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. In today's meta, this is a staple for green. That's really gross. Koala. This character gains blocker and +1 cost. On play, give up to 1 of your rested Dawn cards to your leader. Then play up to 1 Revolutionary Army type character with a cost 4,000 or less from your hand or trash. That's okay. It's pretty good. There's a lot of cycling with trash here. I like it. The power is not terrible. Sometimes these 7 costs come like 4,000 power, which is really depressing. But for a Koala deck that already punishes you for summoning stuff like this, and Sabo, that you really want to see this kind of ability, a lot of good trash returning. Sabo might become the deck of the future. All right, going into the Charlotte Katakuri deck here, we got a new Big Mom. Dawn -4, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Add to 1 card to the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Great. Another heal for purple. Great. Yes, just what purple needed, more heal cards. Then set the base power of up to 1 of your opponent's characters to 0 this turn. Base power. Ooh, wow. 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 That's any card. Wow. This is OP. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, this is a thing. I'm kind of lost of words here, guys. It's a mole. Good to see you. This is a crazy good card. That's going to see some play. All right, Monkey D. Luffy. All right, cool. We got started deck 7. If you have a total of 3 or more given Dawn cards in your field, this character gains Rush. So, of course, you'd have 3 attached and 9k body you can drop. Give it to 1 of your opponent's characters -1,000 during this turn. Each straw for each Straw Hat type character you control. That's pretty good. That's also pretty good. This would be a nice little board clearer. Yeah, it's a mole. I know that I kept saying it, but that's the cards in Synergy, the cards that return the Dawn back. I mean, you're Dawn -4, you're going to get 2 back. And then again, when you get to, it's already on 10 Dawn turns, so your next turn you're going to be back to 10 if you have the Katakuri out. That's just a 5 cost Katakuri. So this is a net nothing here. You pay the 10, you Dawn -4. Katakuri gets you 2 more back, so you get 2 more Dawn to play with. Oh, God. You gain a life. Oh, gosh. It's just... And then any card 0. Blocker Beard, Blocker Teach, 0. Done. Answer the problem. It's okay. You also have to trash a card. 10 cost Linlin was better. You know, honestly, it was better. Still think that giving something 0 power when we have so many 12k blockers and these big problem child, this is pretty good. Here we go. We got the new leader. This is one of the announcements. We're going to get to the page here soon. But we have a new leader announcement for OP17. This one comes out in August. Late August is going to be important for you guys when I talk about the news about the upcoming events here. All your characters that cost 12 or more gain blocker. So this is what I was talking about. We still need to see the cards that are giving your characters this +12. Because there's nothing on this card inherently that gives plus cost. I know that we already have Zombie Luffy from like 2 sets ago that does have it does go up to like ridiculous cost number. Which is kind of good. But I'd like to see the cards that support this to know how good this is going to be. Interesting, though, it gives them all the blocker abilities, so very defensive deck. A new Edward Newgate from 17. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand up to 1 of your leader characters, gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Okay. Wow. Okay. It's pretty good for red. I'm used to Whitebeard being 6k, so this is kind of throwing me off with the 5k. Loki. Loving that we're going to Elbath for this set. It's going to be fantastic. Anime only fans, I'm sorry. You guys are getting spoiled for this stuff all the time. I can't remember if Loki's been spoiled in the anime yet. You guys got to let me know. I'm a little bit behind on the anime. But Loki, this character gains plus 12 cost. All right, there we go. So here's one already. If your opponent's your turn, your character, this character gains plus 3,000, so it's 1,100 blocker. On KO, your opponent's KO 20 opposed characters with a cost of 4 less. Okay. That's huge. This thing is huge. Okay, just to let you guys know, this is Luffy in comparison to Loki. This is amazing. So happy he's made it in. Ooh, we got a new Dracula Mihawk here. This one's from the star deck, of course. When this character becomes rested, draw 1 card, trash 1 card from your hand. All right. If your leader has the slash attribute, play up to 1 Perona or slash attribute type character that costs 5 or less. That's super good. That's super good. Oh, wow. All right, just what Zoro and Mihawk needed was something to spam characters to go out there. Koala's going to have a comeback. Oh, we got the new 8-cost Luffy. This character, if there's a character that costs 12 or more, this character gains Rush. On play, draw 1 card and play up to 1 character that costs 2 or less from your trash. So there's probably going to be a 2-cost character that pumps up the cost of your own. If I was a betting man, it's probably going to be a character that buffs us up here. And I love that we've gone in from trash a card to play a character to just draw a card to play a character. Like that, you want to talk about power creep? That's power creep. It used to be you had to trash character to gain anything. Now it's draw one and play a character. Okay, thank you. Oh, another useless kid from the starter deck. On opponent's attack once per turn, you may turn the top or bottom of your life cards face down. Change the target of an attack to one of uses kid type cards with power 5,000 or more. All right. It's kind of like bringing back the old green one, but you have to have abilities to turn it face up, which there are quite a bit for certain cards. This is a Supernova and Kid Pirate, so this does actually work pretty well in a Trafalgar Law deck. The green-yellow one, of course. So, pretty nice card here. Activate main, you may turn a top life cards face up, give up to 1 of your rested Dawn cards to your leader. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, and that enables itself. You turn it face up on activate main, and then you can switch the you can just keep doing it. It's got its own activation. Xander, good to see you. Nice there, Spatial Point join. All right, Garp. Character, start at 33, 6 cost on play. If your leader has the Navy type, play up to 1 blue Navy type character with 8,000 power or less, other than Monkey D. Garp from your hand. Okay? This is getting there. It's getting there. 8,000 power. I think we're finally getting something with some top-end power here. Is this going to be enough for Kuzan? I don't know, but this is kind of what I was asking for the Kuzan to get some power up here. Little Pound Cake, good to see you. Sakazuki. When attacking, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in hand, your opponent trashes 1. Okay. This is a better Karasu, in my opinion, because it's already got the base 5,000 power. On KO, play 1 Navy type with 4 or less from your hand. And that's even better. That's even better. Yeah, this card's sick. This is a common. That's a common. 1K counter. Trash a card in Kuzan so you could automatically replace it. And they get to, you basically just trash a card from their hand. It's like the new pudding. Like some hand hate. I like that. And you can play it out for free. Charlotte Cracker for the starter deck. On play, if your leader has the Big Mom Pirates type, add up to 1 Dawn for your Dawn card and set it and rest it. Then KO to 1 of your opponent's characters that cost 2 or less. Very, very good in this meta right now, and on a good curve too, because you want to get those answers against like the Goofy and the smaller rush decks that we're seeing, and have some kind of answer for those low cost early. On play, give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power, 2K counter. All right, Lindbergh doing what Lindbergh does. Not that impressive. And Bartolomeo. On play, you may trash 1 Supernova type card from your hand, draw 2 cards. I don't know what Porter was upset about. We got a lot of good support. A lot of good support for his green-yellow law deck here. It's looking pretty good. That's pretty strong. And who doesn't like Bartolomeo? All right, that's going to do it for card reveals, but that is not it for my intro. There is some massive news for those that haven't been paying attention. We got some big news coming from the One Piece card game itself. Some stuff that I need to go over. First off, we're going to go into the rankings, then we're going to talk about the news, and then we're going to talk about something you should probably be preparing for potentially tonight. So let's get into it. Let's check this out. I want to go over the leaderboard, showcase what's the top of the meta right now. We're going to go over those every single week, kind of keep up, because now that we're almost in tandem with the East, we're going to be building the meta alongside them. So we're going to be kind of curious, what is the top deck of choice, and where should we kind of be focusing our attention when we're doing our deck construction to counter what's currently in the meta. All right, starting off the first one, of course, if you guys haven't seen, Nami, blue, yellow, good stuff, still reigning top supreme. I would put this win rate 100% on luck. This is a deck that relies heavily on your life, heavily on the triggers, and making sure that they occur at the right time. So, out there, it will always be good with thriller slot packages, especially with the new additional power creep that we had from the yellow. I'm not too surprised that this is a top deck. But I will tell you, Chainlow, good to see you. I will tell you, if you're trying to play this because you think it's just the best deck, you're going to have to learn about RNG. Because this deck definitely needs a lot of RNG. Then going into a more skilled deck, we have a Nell, which, of course, from the last format has not changed anything. Neither of these have really changed in the last format. And what I really like that I'm seeing here, Rosinante has been climbing up here as an answer for the way that some of the meta has been working out here. The game win percentages here were Rosinante, absolutely devastating. I'm loving the amount of games these guys are playing with this. It's a really good percentage. And the fact that they've played so many of these matches really goes to show you like how much of this number has a little more potency in its accuracy versus the rest. This is a great answer for the current meta. Has a lot of great answers with controlling the tempo, what your opponent's trying to do, and forcing those weenies into these big blockers that are just free blocks. Can't Stop Game says, why isn't your Lord and Savior Emu not on there? Honestly, that's a little surprising. Emu is not on here. I don't know if Emu would be my Lord and Savior, but definitely surprising that Emu is got, like, can you believe it? The power creep of this game has gotten so bad that Emu is not even a good deck anymore. We have the P&L as our current leader right now when it comes to villains. But also up here, Marshall D. Teach. Lot of games with this one. I actually respect the person that was doing the testing this from here. Seriously, put that many games in. This is a skill-heavy deck along with P&L. So just FYI to let you guys know, like, this is going to be something, if you want to get into this Teach deck, it's very, very, very skill-oriented. It's going to require a lot of brain power to pilot this one correctly. But I do think this is arguably one of the strongest decks to come out from OP16. Oh, and sorry, Chainlow, you're right. P&L was actually the Emu killer. It did absolutely just kick Emu out. It's way too fast. It gets underneath the deck. It honestly can answer any of the problem children for that deck, and it's just too good. They can't kill the Enel half the time. They can't do much against it. The Enel deck is just way too fast. They're never going to get to 10 Dawn in the consistency, and they're never going to play this stuff out because Enel sees that Emu deck. He's just spamming characters. Another not surprising, but this one was up a lot higher, so it's kind of dropped a little bit of rank here. We have the goofy blue-green Monkey Luffy card that's got those weenie rush that we were talking about with all these new card reveals. This is kind of the meta they're trying to answer. There's a lot in the Marshall D. Teach that are like 2K or less, and a lot in a lot of these decks that we're seeing. So this is going to be something we're going to be seeing a lot of, answers to and meta changes to kind of respond to a lot of the weenies that people are playing. Oh, we got some good chats in here. Brandon Porter says, this guy is so wrong about the kid cards in Law. They're all terrible in Law with the exception of the Barto, which is only okay. If you think about it with 2 or more seconds, you could realize how bad those cards are. Well, that's your opinion. Thanks for that. As Xander says, too many Anel and Lucy players drove Emu out of the meta, unsure of OP16 matchups in Emu. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. But yes, I understood that it was in the context of law. Thank you, Brandon. All right, going into Boa Hancock, of course, blue-yellow, still good stuff here. Luffy Ace, the new star deck, is actually doing pretty well. And honestly, one of the things that I've been seeing in some of the other lists, the red Porcosti Ace is actually ranking up pretty high. It was actually rated, for the latest one that I saw, there were some people saying that it rates higher than the blue-red Porcosti Ace, which is insane because most of us really thought that deck was kind of like a nothing burger. And of course, the last 2 decks that I've been kind of trying to pilot, of course, are at the bottom of the top 10. Yamato and Shanks. I just built these decks together with this new format in mind, thinking they'd be pretty strong. The Copia might be pretty high. I don't know. I really like these decks. I like the play style. But as we're going to see throughout the plays, throughout the day, Yamato, although has the best attack strategies, and has so many different attacks, it's just, I don't know if it's enough and how well and consistent these other decks are. Not gonna lie, I want to see Rayleigh. See, Rayleigh got knocked out too because of Anel. Rayleigh just like the weenie stuff and all the stuff that was happening with Rayleigh. I'd love to see it myself too, but last format, like PNL just kicked so many of these decks out of the format, and as long as PNL is still one of the top contending decks, it's gonna be the thing that just keeps those decks out of play. I mean, Can't Stop Games, I would love to see that deck come back. Trust me, I've been foiling that deck out since its original outplay, and it was one of the last decks I played in a major competitive event. So I would love to see Rayleigh come back. But I don't think it's going to happen in this current meta. There's just, the power creep is just too strong. I feel like most of these decks kind of just school that deck. Hands down. All right, now we have the Flame Through. This is the news I was telling you guys all about. Set your calendars 7 days from today. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 Central. 10 a.m. Set your timer. Because the release for you to join this new tournament, the Flame Fruit Coliseum, will be made available to all those players that can make it out this September to Dallas, Texas. Or into Texas. Let me verify it's Dallas. But I do know it's in Texas. Guys, this is a worldwide event. Everyone is going to have an opportunity in their different respective countries and regions to play for a one-of-one Flame Through. On September 19th and 20th, all players who get into registration 7 days from today, set your calendars, 7 days from today, that means next Monday, I will be in line hoping to get myself a ticket too. It'll be standard format. The max capacity is 5,000 people. Thank you, Bandai. Thank you for finally recognizing you likely have more players than Pokemon. I don't know if you guys understand the history of this and how important it is that 5,000 people can enter this tournament. They have been limiting so many of their events. So many of these things have been like capped at like 2,000, maybe even 3,000. And Pokemon's out there saying, we had 5,000 competitors come out. It's like, there are more players in One Piece than people realize. There's probably more collectors in Pokemon than there are players, but there are more players in One Piece than are being recognized, and a 5,000 cap tournament is a great way to demonstrate how big this game really has gotten. This is phenomenal news. Does this mean the tickets will be easier? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. There are, in my opinion, in my estimation, millions of people that play this card game. So there's still going to be a limit to that 5,000. But having a capacity of 5,000 is a huge step forward from what they've been doing. As I've been screaming to the rooftops to please increase the capacity for the tournaments because they have far more players and people just do not get a chance to go to these things. They're going to have the soul leveling mats at this event. Who knows? I know that they'll probably have the Naruto playtesting event stuff here at this event too. So if you guys want to try that out. Hey, Joe, good to see you. I don't know about the soul leveling playmats though. But we do have basically the breakdown of the way this thing works. I can let you guys know. So at this event in the same location, they're going to have the Nationals, or the first part of the Nationals here. For those, all that qualified, everybody who made it in this far, first off, great job. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. That's a huge, huge, huge step for you to be able to make it that far into the game. So congratulations, you qualified. That is on Friday, the 18th. If for any reason you get knocked out and you're not able to perform inside this, you can now join this tournament, which is going to be a little bit different. Most of the stuff in Europe is being pushed basically into... one second. The stuff in Europe, I think, is all in one day. Whereas because we have a 5,000 capacity, this is a multi-day event. So what does that mean? You're going to have the opportunity to play 5 rounds in one of the pods that they put you in, because there's going to be multitudes of pods that they're going to put you in. But there's 5 pods, or multiple pods, that you're going to have to go 5 rounds and go 5-0. If you go 5-0 in that pod, you're then entered into the following day to join in that pod. Each phase of those wins will mean a higher prize card as you continue along to get to a single undefeated. The best part about it, if you can do it, best of luck to you. The first day is going to be best of 1. Day 2 is going to be best of 3. So the chances of you making it into this and out of these blocks and making it into the next day will really, really be put to challenge on Sunday, where you have the opportunity to play the game I've been wanting to play in this game for so long, best 2 out of 3. Finally giving people like the understanding that you need to have skill and you need to have this level here to be able to play these games and not just have one bad hand ruin a tournament event and ruin a run. But like I said, we're going to have a Dawn card for 1 win. We're going to have 2 Dawn cards for 2 wins. There's no talking about whether this stacks. So this might be 3. We don't know. Based on the numbers, though, it looks like they're trying to set it up so you get 10 Dawn cards at the end here. But it's tough to say here. At 3 wins, you get 3 of the Dawn cards and a Trafalgar Law. This is where it starts to get some really good stuff. These prizes are getting really good. Then you get a Coliseum at 4 wins with 5 Dawn. Then at 5 wins, which this one will get you... Oh, no, they're going 6 wins. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry. The European one was 5 wins. The U.S. one's going to be 6. My apologies. So you have to go 6 rounds, best of 1, to get into this top. And now we're talking about some massive prizing here. You're going to get the Trafalgar Law, the Usopp Coliseum, and the Sabo. All these cards are going to be hot demand. Then block 2 single elimination, top 16, 8, 4, 2, and the block champion. So we get each one of these 4 blocks will have their own champion here. This is basically the games you play after on the day 2 here. And each one of these, it's really fitting into the anime. If you guys have ever watched the Coliseum arc, it was really good. This is really fitting into that same kind of strategy here. But basically, out of each one of the blocks, there will be a top 16. And each one with best 2 out of 3 will be fighting all the way up to getting these amazing prices with amazing value, because of how few of these are going to exist. And finally, in phase 3, out of all the blocks, 3rd place will be given a trophy, 2nd place trophy, and the coveted dun, 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 1 of 1 Flame Through Coliseum North American Trophy card. This card is insane. 1 of 1 for North America. Now, I've been doing a lot of things in TCGs. A 1 of 1 card, you're talking potentials of millions of dollars. Potential. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. You still have to find a buyer. You still have to find someone willing to pay that kind of price for it. But a 1 of 1 card, that's potential for millions of dollars. That's absolutely insane. I'm going to be playing for it. I'm going to hope to get there, but we got to see. So what you're going to want to do, copy this link. I'm going to put in the chat here. Copy this link. Get ready. At 10 a.m., 7 days from today, you're going to have the opportunity to register for this event. Get yourself in the registration. Starts June 22nd, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is how you sign up. Get the available pass. Make sure, even if you're qualified for the Nationals, I would 100% get this thing. Make sure you get these tickets, set your alarm, get in 10 minutes before this kicks off. Be here 10 minutes before. Make sure you, whatever you can, be logged in if there's a login. Make sure you have your app ready, the Bondi TCG app, just in case you might need to register for that as well. But most likely what's going to happen is it's going to reroute you into a Tixer account for you to pay for the ticket to get it registered. Oh. Sorry, it's just taking me in circles here. Get in there, and it's, if you can make it down to, does it say the location? Because I know it's in Texas. Where was the location? I know it's in Texas. Where am I missing this? Through Coliseum on Friday. Players who have won invite. General pass. Of course, there's going to be general entry. It's going to be pretty good. Definitely, if you're on the waiting list, don't care. Sign up for it regardless, because there's going to be a lot of bots that are going to be trying to take up these seats, so you might get that. And pay attention to your account. And then, of course, get general entry if you can make it out there. There will be a lot of side events for this thing, too. Treasure cups, large-scale extra grand battles. A lot of great stuff for you guys to do on the side events. So, yeah, even if you don't make it into the main event, there's going to be plenty of stuff to do on the side. And even if you get eliminated, there's going to be plenty of stuff to do on the side. Where is this? It's in Dallas, but or it's in Texas. Where am I missing this? I know it's in Texas. This is what all the news have been telling me. I don't know where it's at. All right. And finally, before we can take a break, I'm going to be watching this tonight. I think all of you guys should be watching this tonight. Out of the news that they released, Bondi Premium is going to have 2 new master sets that they're going to be releasing, and it's going to be something that you're going to want to be on the lookout for. We don't have an announcement yet. I haven't checked Twitter in a while, so there's some other people I follow that usually tell me the insider that they're going to go live with this. But I'm keeping this page, refreshing it on frequent here, and trying to see selected filters. Trying to see this one right here in sales status for upcoming items here and getting ready. So if you guys have not done this before, these things are great opportunities to get some really cool limited edition cards. Bondi Premium, of course, really, really good with their product. This stuff is outstanding. It takes months to get you, but when you do, these cards are just absolutely hot desire and just an amazing, amazing opportunity. When these cards do drop, though, you're going to want to be signed in about 10 minutes early. Sign in. And then once it becomes available, click on it, and regardless of what happens, if the thing says out of stock or whatnot, just keep hitting refresh. Go on your product here. And it says, sorry, out of stock. Just keep hitting refresh until it opens up. Because once this thing goes live, there will be a lot of bots. This one, of course, doesn't. Premium Bondi login loves breaking during drops. It really does. It really does. The system it breaks all the time, which is why it's dire important that you get a browser open and sign in. My phone, by the way, is signed in already. I'm already signed in and logged in on my phone. So if tonight, if for any reason they drop something, I'll be checking this in between breaks myself just to see if they're going to drop anything. Because I have a feeling usually it's pretty short-term notice after the announcement that they're going to drop something that happens. So I would assume in the next couple weeks, if not tonight, we will see a drop occur. So be on the lookout for this stuff. Follow your favorite content creators. I will be putting this in a Discord as soon as I have news. I'll let everybody know that the drop is happening. And of course, I'll be giving you guys a link to it. Make sure 10 minutes before it starts to go live, sign in. Get logged in. Once you get there, find the product you want when it goes live. Click on it. As soon as it says sorry, out of stock, just keep hitting refresh. Wait till this button highlights and is available. Trust me, when the bots start getting cleared out, things happen. I've done this process time after time after time after time. It works for me. I get eventually I get a window after about 30 minutes of trying. I get my spot in a window and I get to buy the kit. The only time I've not gotten these kits is this lottery time. I wasn't able to win any lotteries. I lost all of them. Sadly with this. So this is the only, these are the few kits I was not able to actually get from the Bondi Premium because I didn't win any lotteries to buy it. But for the non-lottery stuff, This is exactly how you get access to the site. All right, I hope you guys got that down. Of course, if you guys haven't joined my Discord, please do so, because I will be posting that when I know it's going to be going live. There are other people on X, Twitter, the rest of those things that people will be posting when it goes live. Obviously, the official Bondi site will be telling you when it's going to go live with that product. So if you haven't followed that, not sponsored, but do so, because that's what I follow to see when things might drop and go in my favor. All right, we have 3 games tonight. I'm going to be taking a quick break here. Go get hydrated, get some water. Hydration reminder. And we're going to come into 3 matches of OP16, checking out some amazing leaders head-to-head. And, of course, for all of you at home, 2 free packs. I'm going to get the wheel set up and get ready. But we got 3 games of One Piece TCG coming your way right after this break. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and we're back for round one of today's event. This is all coming back from last week's tournament. I was sadly not able to make it out on Wednesday due to some other work-related issues. I do apologize. And of course, this weekend was all about the Magic the Gathering set and the Marvel set releases. So all the kinds of content got kind of pushed itself out there. So I'm using the content I had from last week where we had a really fun time where I was getting River to play some new games and I was starting to get into this and I'm trying to play the new decks of the OP16. Super excited, and it just happened to work out. The table one had myself and Cam on camera. So I'm going to showcase today my current, or actually it's actually already been upgraded. It's been moved around. I've been testing out different deck techs, and one of the things I really enjoyed that now we're just like 2 weeks separated from Japan, we really do have the freedom of making our own decks. So I've been doing stuff on my own, trying to practice and trying to see what works and what doesn't work, and I've been tweaking it based on the game's results and what I think needs to be in the meta, and learning from all these games that I've been testing with, and I've been having a lot of fun building this deck from scratch. And I'd love to see what other people are bringing into the meta. And honestly, what Cam's bringing seems a real bit strong here. I really enjoy this. We're going to see Jewelry Bonnie, the red-yellow leader, coming back from the grave here and showcasing its strength and probably recognizing some weakness that happens to be in today's meta. And we're going to see if Cam, with this deck and his choice and his makeup, can take down the OP16 leaders and one of the top leaders that we just saw from the Epic Meta. I don't know if you guys were here earlier, where you got to see the top leaders in contention for the current meta that OP16 happens to be representing, which, in my opinion, honestly, quite diverse. I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving to see how the people playing the new leaders. I love the people trying new stuff. We got some really interesting decks to showcase today, some interesting new tech, and of course, we got some of the great leaders that I've been dying to cast, and can't wait to showcase some of the awesome gameplay with some of these new leaders from OP16. This is my favorite time of season where all things are new. Gameplay's new, the cards are great. We're going to go over some of these cards. We're going to do our best. If it's the first time I've covered it, I'm going to go in a little bit more detail. If it's the second time, obviously I'll go pretty quickly for all those that have been paying attention throughout the shift. But we got round one, guys. This is your opportunity right now. If you haven't done so yet, hit exclamation point join on YouTube and on Twitch for your chance to win one of the 2 free packs we're giving away at the end of the stream. Only one pack picked so far has been a hit from our community box. Every single one of these packs goes to one of you members who watch me live as we cover this stuff every Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 about when I start. But we got today, first up, myself on Yamato versus Cam on Jewelry Bonnie, red yellow. Starting things off, we have my deck in version 1.0 that's already being upgraded and been moved around. There's some things I've been noticing did work, some that didn't, some things I was trying to see that, the way that the meta was playing around, and certain things that I was like trying to things I was a little hesitant on, and things that I thought, okay, this will be really good. Obviously, Yamato, for those who don't know, one basic effect: if I get anything from the trash and it's a Land of Wano card, it gains Rush. And what's that mean? It means that this whole deck is just kind of like comboing on multitudes of attacks, and it is kind of a skill based. If you really understand that there are certain cards you need to hold for certain stages, and you need to wait for a certain amount and times when you want to use it. Obviously, you want to put a lot of pressure on your opponent, make sure you're hitting them as much and getting the counter out of their hand as much as possible, and going as fast as possible. This is a black deck, but it really plays like a red deck. Starting off, we have a searcher here with Nami, allowing you to look at the top 4 cards and trash the rest from the cards that you picked. Obviously, most of the time you're trying to get yourself on an even curve here to get that Yamato, to get the engine running. Most of the time when you're playing this deck kind of leans quite heavy on getting this Yamato. So cards and the stuff for this are definitely going to be trying to turbo through, get the trash ready, and getting the targets ready, and having a 6 cost at least in hand to get the engine started. Then we have ways that we can start feeding that also by trashing a card from hand of 8 costs or less to get one of the Yamato 8 costs here, or more, excuse me, 8 costs or more to draw 2 cards. So a nice little 1-drop that allows you to pitch some of these, especially this Yamato here, into the tracks that has no counter and get that ready for the further on engine. We have the Monkey D. Luffy that's kind of a nice 2K, but also has the surprise of giving a character unblockable for the turn, something that one of the Yamatos already has stapled on it. And as an on-play, you get to play up to 1 Yamato with a cost of 6 or less from your trash. So on play, the engine goes pretty hard if you have this Yamato in play. Not only that, especially like the engine is absolutely insane, and we'll go over it in just a moment as we talk about the different combos you can do with this deck. Of course, we are playing the Mononosuke and Shinobu combo. This is one of the things that is a nice little 2K out of both of these cards, but this one sets your sets your Mononosuke to plus 20, which is what's required for you to get this combo here, because once you have him plus 20, you can sacrifice him to get the 9 cost from your yard, which hopefully you've discarded here from some of your other discard engines or from your trash adders. You've got this thing in the yard. It's a nice little blocker that plays a land of Wano type character with a cost of 6 or less other than Kazuki Mononosuke from your trash. So here you get to get the 6 engine. The 6 cost card here is one where you get to draw a card, trash a card, so hopefully filling the trash up with what the 8 costs you need. And you get to trash this character, play up to 1 Yamato with a cost of 8 from your trash. So what's happening here is you start off with this one on the field, which is most of the time why you want to be going second. You really want to be on the even curve for this deck. You get this out, you trash it, you get one of these 8 costs, you can get the Yamato back immediately if this one's in the trash, or you have this one that has an on-play, add up to 1 land of Wano type character with a cost 6 or less from your trash to your hand, then play up to 1 character with a cost 2 or less from your hand, which is not bad. I mean, there are some great options here to keep cycling and keep filling the yard up with more targets, but both of these are going to have rush because they're coming back from the trash with the Yamato ability. Swinging in for 8k. This one obviously creates a longer chain of events here where you can special summon the 6 cost back, swing with this, and then I guess sacrifice this again to bring back another Yamato. Unblockable being the strongest of the 2, but both of them having versatility within the way that this deck works. The biggest engine is making sure that you can basically get the start of the turn, swing with this if you can. If it's already on the 6th turn, most of the time you're just sacking it. But you really want to be swinging with this, sacking it, to swing with this, to bring it back, to sack it, to swing with another one of the Yamatos, using some of the other combos, either Mononosuke, get the engine started, where it brings this back, you swing with it for 5k. If you have any Dawn left, maybe you can swing with this for a 6k, which is one of the downsides. I gotta say, one of the things that I really enjoyed about this deck, but also kind of a detriment, is the fact it is only 5k and 6 power leaders, not to mention a lot of cards that put leaders up to like 7k for the turn. Definitely make this one kind of harder to get some utilization. It's better against weenie decks because you can kind of like use the attack to swing into like a lower attack character, get that thing clean off the board, sack it, and bring up one of these 8 cost Yamatos and start swinging for life. It has some great defensive capability. I like this card right here. It's a nice one to return with the Yamato ability as a nice little blocker to keep yourself alive for the next turn. But one of the dangers I've seen from this, anything 2 costs or less being on the board usually won't survive, given there's just so much hate for these low-cost characters that happen to be running the meta right now. Now, one of the things that I was trying, Kazuki Kinemon over here, really nice. I upped this one because obviously making sure you get some searches, and on that 4-cost turn, filling the trash is absolutely dire. So this one became more of a need. And the only reason I was running 2 is because at first I was thinking, what happens if I'm on the odd curve and I need to have something else in the odd curve to just kind of help me get there? Because obviously anyone who's playing this dice, so they win the die roll, the first thing they're going to do is put you on the play. This deck is highly dependent on being on the even curve to really make sure that the combo fits at the appropriate turn and gets a 10 Dawn at the fastest way possible, given you have no other ramp capability. So most people recognize that. They're going to choose it. You're playing against a Yamato, put them on the play. I was thinking I like to have this blocker here. I'm still with it because I can bring it back with some of these other characters. But one of the cards that surprised me was kind of a random dead card, but I thought was super strong in this deck, was this Monkey Luffy. And you know, honestly, after playing this card, I thought it was a great ad. I thought that was going to be great. But the problem I had with it is it really doesn't synergize with a lot of what the deck's trying to do. And there's not a lot of turns where you have the time to just play this Monkey Luffy. There's not a lot that can get this one back, so it doesn't have rush. Obviously, it has some great stats to it. I mean, I love the fact that you can, at 20 more cards, you can give your base power to your Yamato. But the way that this deck has been playing for me, it's more of a class cannon. If you're not getting this engine online in the early games and getting these massive swings, basically trying to end the game on your 10 Dawn turn, the deck's not really going to perform very well. Late game, this thing does not do very well. And this is a real nice delaying late game type of card. It allows you to set up for some more defensive plays. Good card overall. I like this card. But out of the limited, I think, a dozen games that I played with this deck so far, this has always been a dead card for me. So I end up having to cut this one, sadly, just because I noticed that this deck, at least the way that I've been playing it, is all about trying to get the combo in as many swings in the early game as possible to get this combo working correctly with the Yamato. Now, once it does, if it can get on the even curve, this deck is pretty sick. It's really gross. Has more hits and more attacks than most decks can possibly fester at this point. Which is why I was playing this card that a lot of people aren't playing, because it is just another way as 6 Dawn to kind of like get these engine up and running here. Or 7 Dawn. It's 7 Dawn, right? You basically, as 7 Dawn here, can get the engine started with this. It is a nice little 3K counter if you need it. Obviously, Ground Death is what a lot of people have been playing for this, for the 4K counter. I cut that to try to see. I don't know if I want to play defensive in this deck, and from everything I practice with, defense isn't really the best suit for Yamato. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts about Yamato, but I'm not really big on the wanting to play defensive. I want to play offensive, which is why I also included this one, which I think is arguably one of the stronger cards that most people are not prepared for. It only costs 3 Dawn, but if you're trying to swing for game and you have the combo of, I believe Monkey D. Luffy can do leaders here. Characters, no, just the characters, I'm sorry. But if you're trying to get into the extra swing and you're just one swing shy of going for lethal, there's nothing better than a nice I'm special. Or I'm sorry, you are my special right here that's just going to, oh, what is it? Oh, what is it? I got this thing here. Invincible. Yeah, the I'm invincible type effect that started off with Uda that got turned into the extra swings that you get from Zoro decks. And now here's one for Yamato to get an additional swing in with it. And I like it. I've won games a lot. If you guys watched my pre-release for this, I won 2 of my games on camera with this card alone because it just gave me that extra swing I needed. And it's pretty effective. Next, we're going into the deck for Jewelry Bonnie. And here's where we're going to talk about why I think this is a really smart choice from Cam to start playing with this deck. Now, it's not easy to do, but once you get up there, one opponent's turn, if you have 1 or less life cards, this leader gains plus 2,000. So it already goes up to 7K. But the one thing about this deck is it plays a lot of the characters that buff the character for the next turn for 2K. So oftentimes, what really happens in this deck, and we're going to go through the cards and show you where this happens, most of the time this leader's sitting at 9K. With a lot of cool blockers, a lot of good synergy, some great triggers, some life, ways to gain life when needed and whatnot. The 9K body here is exactly kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to do with Yamato. Most of the time, we don't have Dawn allocation that we can use in these combos to get the swings in. Most of the time, we're just swinging 8. When this leader's sitting at 9K, it's very easy to counter out a lot of these swings, and it's harder for the Yamato player to start swinging into these things, given the top end is really an 8K body. So, we're going to go over some of the rest of the cards, but I really like this type of strategy here by this opponent by playing this card that allows you to basically keep your leader up to this ridiculous high health at 9K body and making it really difficult for your opponent to start swinging into you. Of course, we got the Jewelry Bonnie, looking for the top 4 cards of your deck to get the consistency. We have the 9 cost that should be down here that just takes a life. This one's a surprise card. Always respect this in a Bonnie Pirates type deck. This thing's absolutely disgusting. You think you're okay with just 1 life, and sometimes it just takes it out there. Your leader's egghead, this gains rush, and you just take a life on play. Super gross. This card is just absolutely game ending. Talking about cards to give the plus 2,000K, starting off with this 10 cost here. If you have 1 or less life cards, it does get -1, so you get 9 costs, which is not bad. It'll help you play some defensive cards if necessary. But trash 1 card from your hand, and your leader gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's end phase. Then this character gains blocker until the end of turn. So you get a nice little 12K blocker on top of setting your leader up to a basic 9K, the way that this one plays out. Additionally, Ronor Zoro, which is like still one of $14, $15 cards from EBO4 here in the last set from EBO OP15, excuse me, also has the on-play of giving the plus 2,000 in a turn. So now there's 4 other copies that give this thing 9K for the turn. And this one has rush character, so it's got a nice little answer. So long as you have a body of 8,000 power or more, which Yamato does quite often, you got yourself a nice little 9K swinger for 7 Dawn, which is pretty impressive. Of course, we have the Game Ender with Goldie Roger, which is just really nice. So if you're out of life, and which can often happen in this deck, you do have a win con to prevent them from using blockers, and you have this amazing top end to start swinging. Also, the Monkey D. Luffy with the bell. This one, also a absolute staple, has been putting up a lot of work for yellow decks. I've heard a lot of people, my friends, saying that this card is the champion of yellow decks. This thing really helps out. If you have 6 or more Dawn cards on your field, this character gains rush. So you get a nice little 7K attack for 5. When your opponent activates the event or blocker, Reveal it to one card from the top of your life cards. This character gains 1,000 power per for this turn per cost of the revealed card. So what does that mean? If I reveal a 7 cost, this becomes a 14k swing if they use blocker. That means a blocker beard probably not going to be able to block this thing very easy, given you reveal a high enough cost character. On top of that, when they're playing events, if you reveal something higher than a 4k event, this thing's swinging in. So absolutely devastating to an opponent who's trying to use these events for defensive play or trying to use blocker for defensive play, because if you do, this Monkey Luffy is probably going to kill whatever blocker you're throwing at it. Of course, we have the Life Gain Borsalino blocker. You've got the Life Take Nami here, because what yellow does really well is taking life. You have the Zeus here to KO some characters. Unblockable Sanji. You have the 4-cost Sanji here. When attacking this character's base power becomes the same as the opponent's leader. So if they do get a bonus buff here, you can make sure the Sanji is swinging for 7, even 9k in a mirror match. Or some of the decks that do get that high up, like Ace, that gets up to like 8k all the time. And on KO, if you have 2 or less life cards, play up to 1 yellow character with 6,000 power or less from your hand. So excellent targets are ready for this thing to bring in some extra cards, which often happens because Julie Bonnie loves taking life in the early game. Of course, Ben Beckman to start trashing things to avoid all those KO effects that you see on some of these different cards. We have a blocker sent tomorrow at 2, which you're seeing a lot of, like I said, we've got a lot of these 2-cost blockers now that black's not prominent. But it's still going to be one of those cards that probably get eaten up a lot by all these cards that answer these 2 costs, especially when the star decks release. We have the Raw Heat Strike counter. Up to 1 of your leader type characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then if you have 1 or less life cards, give one of your opponent's leader or characters minus 2,000. So this is your nice little 4k for 1 type of ability, but also can target a separate character. So even if you just need that 2k benefit, you can kind of shrink something else and make it harder for the next swing to come in. And of course, Distorted Future, activate main if you have 2 or less life cards, give it to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power. So nice to help remove a threat if necessary. And of course, a counter for 1 for plus 3k, which is your standard for 1-cost events here. And something you can do quite often, including the Monkey D. Luffy, that will come on as a 9 in most cases in this deck. Lots of ways for this deck to get up to 9k. Definitely a great strategy, and I love this. And we're going to see how this deck plays up against mine in round 1. As I go Yamato versus Red Yellow Bonnie. Let's see. Skip ahead a little bit here. Remember, on the dice roll, what's most important is trying to put me on the start, because this deck does want to go in the evens to get its consistency. 4 versus 5 life leader here. And of course, I lost a die roll, so I'm on the play, but I did get a good searcher. So I'm going to look at the top 4, pick a card, looking for a 6-cost Yamato if I can find it. Maybe even something 5 cost if I need to keep the curve going. And trash the rest. Devs! Tangerope. Yes, Tangerope indeed. This is one of the decks I told you guys right when I saw this deck. I was all in. I love this deck. I'm going for it. Kazuki Mononosuke the Find here. Obviously the best pick out of that little pile there. We did have a 2-cost Monkey Luffy, the event cost, and then, of course, the Shinobu. But Zeus going to instantly answer the board here. Good call on Cam, because given the fact I am on the play here, I think that's actually really genius play here. It seems like a waste here to take the life, but obviously he's trying to get this thing up as high as possible, so taking the life isn't going to be that much of a detriment in this deck here. But killing my Nami does attack my strategy. If he's putting me on the play, my best turn right here is to swing 5 and 5. Absolute best play. Get those swings in, start hitting the counter out of his hands. Best strategy here. So Cam actually killing this 2k, very smart play. Des says, I haven't lost to Black Yamato yet, but I always feel so stressed. I can understand that completely. It is a fun deck. I've gotten quite a few wins on it. Not enough to get myself a championship yet. But I am having a lot of fun, and I can definitely see why people are stressing out, because there's so many attacks that can come out of nowhere. All right, doing another search here. Looking like I already have an odd curve. Oh, I'm going to get myself on the odd curve. So here is the Kazuki Odin here. This way I can capitalize next turn on the 5 Dawn turn. Yep, making sure my curve's looking all right. I guess the debate here I had was I could play the Kinemon Or the Porkosty Ace. That's the one I forgot to add to the deck. This is another one I was testing out that I ended up cutting. It is great. If they kill it, they have to discard 2 cards. But the 5k body ended up just being something a little too weak for the deck curve. And it didn't help the engine going. But I did love the idea. Porkosty Ace there being like something you don't want to kill because you don't want to lose 2 cards on hand. And for the most part, yeah, they didn't want to kill it. The problem is this deck does a terrible job at allocating Dawn. It's a very good black card. The problem is, if you're not in a deck that can utilize the Dawn for attaching, these 5k bodies aren't really that good for you. And if you guys have seen this deck in its action, it really likes to just kind of maximize the Dawn usage for massive swings. 5k into life here, looking for 1. We'll see if Cam gives it up. See, he's got a Goldie Roger win count already in hand. Looks like he's pulled the Nami to the front. Likely going to counter out of this one. Does so. Leaves me up with the 1 play here, so it means I can get some extra swings. Going to Nico Robin, discarding the blocker here to get that engine started here. Going for Porkosty Ace and pass the turn. Get the bodies out, so at least I have something to potentially start swinging into. No, I have not seen the 6-cost Yamato yet, so really need to see it within the next couple turns if I want to get this engine running. I do have plenty of targets to the Yamato's in yard, so I can get the engine and yard going. I just need to get a 6-cost in hand to start really start ramping up. 7k to life, easy take. I'm sorry, Nami was the play on that take. Now I'm going to be taking 7 here. Can give a 2 and a 1. Wondering if I probably should have gone blocker here. Given I did get some good card advantage here for the Nico Robin, might have enough here. Definitely don't want to get down too low, especially against the Juri Bonnie deck that does have a lot of take life cards. A lot of their strategy is going to be taking my life, so defending is probably one of the hardest one of the things I really want to be thinking about. So heavy on here. Giving up 2 cards never feels good, but also knowing that yeah, if I take too many hits from this deck, from just basic swings, I'm probably not going to be having a good day here. All right, up to 7. Do we have the 6-cost? There it is. Can get the play going here. Nothing to, sadly, to attack with. However, I can get some swings in. If he takes 1 hit, though, the leader will go to 7k. So it will kind of knock me out of range. So if I do attack into these things with the 5ks just to try and poke, Cam could just decide, you know what? I'm going to take the life, put myself up to 7. Since next turn I'll probably be up to 8. Yep, instantaneously puts himself up to 7. Now turn off my leader swing, unless I want to allocate some Dawn to it. But him knowing that this is the turn I really want to get my Yamato on, best option I have right now to try and get some hand losses, to maybe drop the 6-cost Yamato, get back a 8 cost from the trash, and maybe get a swing and maybe a 2k in a hand. Or get the block from the Sun tomorrow. Looking like that's going to be the play. Here comes the 6-cost. Obviously that does not have rush, but the Yamato I bring back, which I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So I'm going to pass the turn. Wait. Not make it vulnerable to some kind of attack here. Expecting to see something. Here we go. First plus 2k here. So now Rowan or Zoro going to keep this thing at 9. Make him an next turn a lot harder to swing in here. Here comes 6. Going to be taking this one. Here comes 7. Give him the event for the 3k. Passing the turn goes up to 9. Now, my thinking here is that now that I have a 6-cost out and 9k Dawn, I can possibly use this Yamato as a way to like get some swings in and have Dawn allocation so I can swing into this 9k body. Also, I had to take into consideration that him having Zoros in this deck obviously gave me an answer. So if I gave him a Yamato, that rush character would be live for the Zoro. So also just some deep thinking here. that non-swing there was just an idea of like, well, if he does, this is going to be a turn he's going to drop the Zoro. That will give him, if I have an AK body, it will give it character rush. Do I want to enable that right now? Or just force him to play it for the 2K and see if I can survive a couple more turns? Really need to get myself with a decent board state here with a lot of characters. And have a time where I can allocate a lot of Dawn to try and counter through and hopefully pray that he doesn't have a whole lot of counter in hand. But 9 Dawn turn here. Could be setting up a play for Kazuki Mononosuke. Guess a good play right here could be getting one of the 8 costs back from trash. Go with the blocker, get it back, sack it again. Get out 2 9Ks and maybe next turn be able to swing with some non-blockables. And at least have Dawn allocation. Alright, going 6 and a 6, trying to get some counter out of hand. Doing something here, or just trying to bluff that he does a 6K or not. Obviously, it can get replaced if he has a 6K, but now I'm wondering if I can get some counter out of hand, it might make it easier for me to get these swings in. And there we go, got the counter. Gonna get the plus 2K and minus 2 to Yamato. Okay, leader can attack now. I don't know if it really throws off too much of my situation here. I am reminding him that if he kills this, I will take 2 cards on a hand. Going 2 for a blocker. Getting the rest of Dawn from the ace here. On swing. Gonna go 7 into 6, asking for a 2K, get it. Getting some good counter on a hand though for this. Get it for another blocker, discard the Mononosuke to draw 2. Get my hand up there. And no, I do have the capability of sacking this Yamato to get another swing in if I want to. I think mostly right now I'm just trying to either get rid of the blocker or get rid of the counter in hand here. Here comes the unblockable from the trash. Draw 2. Sack that Yamato. Get the unblockable back. This one has rush. Sadly, can't swing into 9, but can swing into 8. So I have the option of keeping it up and active for this turn and protecting it. Or trying to go board state here. And test to see if he has a 6K body. If anything, this will allow me to have at least some decent swings and some good allocation for Dawn next turn when I get to 10 Dawn turn to try and fight through these. Xander, good to see you on YouTube. Appreciate you. But yeah, the road here is how do I get enough bodies where I can swing and allocate enough Dawn into Cam's body so I can have something that doesn't cost too much for me to swing over that 9K body. Yeah, it looks like he does have an answer, so he's probably going to let this one go for the Borsellino and go for the heal. Yeah, it doesn't take. Yep. Reveals the top card. Here's the Bell Luffy here. Here comes Borsellino, adding a life, which does remove the 2K. But sadly, I'm out of Dawn here. Do have 2 blockers to keep my attackers left here. Cam now at 2 blockers. Starting off with a search with Juribani. Look at the top 4. Reveals another Zoro here. Perfect answer to make sure he can stay up at the 9K. Cam has so many ways of making this leader 9K. It's absolutely disgusting. And it really is looking at this meta here. Where there's so many weenies. There's so many low to the ground stuff. Really devastating to put your leader up to 7 constantly, if not 9 constantly. Which kind of like counterintuitively fights through everything, just about everything but Adele. But yeah, taking the life here with the Zeus, popping my blocker. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the Kazuki blocker. Does put his leader back up to 9K in the next turn. Rush character is live. Here comes 9, going into, I imagine he's probably going to get this unblockable here. Yamato wants to get this thing off the board. Nope, going live. Here comes 9. Trying to get the blocker out of the way so he can kind of open up next turn, possibly hit me with the Juri Bonnie KO, if he has it. Also, don't forget he does have Roger in hand, so if I do go into 0, these blockers become absolutely worthless with Roger. Here comes 7K. Looking for 2. Looks like I'm going to give it up. Just looking to find out what 2K and 1K I want to give away. Oh, 3 1Ks. Kind of revealing I don't have much counter. Comes 9 into the 8. It's going to cost me 2 1Ks if I want to keep this one alive. Get a lot out of my hand here for this. And sadly, giving away the knowledge, I'm going to use blocker. Keep it alive. And Cam back up into 9K. Knowing it's absolutely desperate that I keep an 8K body out here. I need some way to fight through all this. Blockers are already kind of an annoyance. Best option right now, unblockable Yamato connects. And somehow I have enough down, and then I can allocate maybe for a Monkey D. Luffy, make Portgosti Ace unblockable, and possibly swing with that to end the game. Is really the only option I have here. If I want to win this game, I've got to get something strong enough for this Yamato to connect into this Juri Bonnie, and then hope that enough down allocation from this Portgosti Ace unblockable, if I have the Luffy in hand, of course, to swing in for lethal. Given my life is at 1, I know that I'm very vulnerable to having a Juri Bonnie 9 cost coming into face and pretty much ending the game here. Walling up, not necessarily the best, again, because if I take 1 life, just 1 life, it's going to be bad news bears for me. Dev's asking the question, do I play any ground death? This version did not play any ground death. I was not a big fan of playing defensive decks in this one. The Yamato, I feel personally, does not do well in long games. So it was one of the things where I took the ground death out of the deck because I didn't feel like this deck really did well trying to play defensive in the late game. This deck really just wants to get to the 10 Dawn turn and have enough swings that your opponent's dead by then. Sadly, going up against probably my worst nemesis here, a 9K leader. Which is just, it's just randomly one, just one power too high for this Yamato deck to get these nice free swings in. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ground death here. There's not a whole lot of open Dawn that you have for each turn. There are ways to play a little bit defensively, but I don't feel like Yamato, if you're playing defensively with Yamato, you're probably already losing the game. That's my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts if you guys are playing Yamato. If you think ground death in the late game is worth it, it's worth trying. It is a great card. It would be live right now. Just not a big fan. And it doesn't look like I have the Monkey Luffy here in hand. No, I do not have the Monkey Luffy in hand, at least not from what I can see here. Thinking this is probably the best option I have, but it does look like I have the extra attack. The problem is he's got 2 blockers. Extra attack isn't going to do much against 2 blockers here. And I need 2 of these attacks to land. Is there any way for me to get another unblockable in the trash if I have one? But then again, I have to have the Dawn allocation, so it's like a lot of the ways to get this engine going, a lot of the ways to do this, it's not very good. Not very easy for me to swing into a 9K body. I love Cam's choice here. I think it was one of the things he was thinking about, like one of all these decks where you're playing with the goofy decks, where you got the green-blue weenie rush stuff, putting in a lot of pressure. Like, what a better answer than saying, okay, now I'm 7 and 9K. Good luck at investing all that Dawn you need to make those little weenies actually powerful enough to swing into me. I don't know what the P&L's... I'd have to talk to Cam to see what the P&L matchup for this deck is. But this definitely does answer a lot of what currently got released in this meta. With a lot of this weenie rush stuff here. Looks like I'm going to go on the board. Try to get these blockers... Or try to get the counter out of hand. Get the counter out. Maybe get rid of some of these blockers. I'm running out of options here. Do you have the option to kind of wall up here, but not the greatest? Can go for the Mononosuke. Get something back. Get the 6-cat back from the trash. Hope to survive. Maybe get the one that gets a 2-cost back. And just go blocker and hope to survive next turn. So looks like that's going to be the option. Go on Mononosuke, get the 6-cost back. Notably, I can get a Kazuki Mononosuke. But here, if I have the 8-cost, I can go get the 8-cost from the trash. And get the 2-cost blocker up for multiple blockers for this turn. But from what it looks like, I might not have... Oh, I do. I should. I forgot the 2 costs up the front. Maybe I do have it. I forgot to draw a discard. My bad. Looking to keep as much counter as possible, it looks like. Didn't have the other 8 costs. Sadly, did not have the other 8 costs in hand here. To get the 2 costs, to get my blocker back here. It's not the most optimal play here, but it does give me something for next turn if I can survive this turn. But it's looking like I am out of swings and 1 blocker. Pass the turn. Now Cam realizing that he's got another way to probably pump up here. And I just explained to him that there was like nothing I could swing into here. 9, probably going to life. Here we go. On the take. Which brings down Roger, making blockers absolutely worthless here. Here comes 9. And that's it. Congratulations to Cam. Great win, great performance, and great deck choice. I really like this. I like when people are looking at the meta and they're studying, they're saying, hey, what seems to be a weakness of something I'm seeing in my local meta or seeing in this local region? And is this going to be the answer? And I got to say, the idea of what I've seen here was really impressive because this one and the game outside I got to watch out there was really good for Cam. Cam was really demonstrating how powerful this deck is. And I love seeing a Blast in the Past kind of like demonstrating there's a little bit of weaknesses in this new meta. All right, we're going to clean this one up. I'm going to take a quick break. As soon as I come back, we're going to go into round 2 here. And we got another fun matchup with my absolute favorite, Marshall D. Teach, is going to be playing the new one out here versus the Blue Yellow Nami. It's out there. It's always here. Top tier decks. Let's find out what these tier decks can do. And we're going to see which one of these yellow decks is going to take it down right after this. We'll be right back.
out of Cabo to drink margaritas, get me some sun and meet some senoritas. I toasted my back in the sand by the ocean. I needed suntan lotion. I asked a girl on the beach if she'd rub it on me. I was surprised when she did agree. I asked what her name was. She said Angelina, a fine Mexican Lolita. Oh, Angelina, take me to heaven on my vacation. Yeah, Angelina, you're the girl from my imagination. When I saw you, my heart was on fire. The guys back home gonna swear I'm a liar. The finest girl I've ever seen, oh, Angelina. The lotion went on, she did it so gently. I said, would she have a drink with me? Another surprise, she laid down beside me. I ordered 2 Dos Equis. Our surveys came, which we did consume. I said, would she like to go to my room? That beautiful girl said she'd be delighted. Man, I was getting excited. Oh, Angelina, take me to heaven on my vacation. Yeah, Angelina, you're the girl from my imagination. When I saw you, my heart was on fire. The guys back home gonna swear I'm a liar. The finest girl I've ever seen, oh, Angelina. We took the elevator up to my floor. I got out my room key and opened the door. I got her a beer, I stared in her eyes. I went to change and then one more surprise. When I came back, well, something was funny. She was long gone, and so was all my money. Oh, Angelina, I could have been in heaven on my vacation. Yeah, Angelina, how do you avoid incarceration? When I saw you, my heart was on fire, but you knew I was blind by desire. The finest thief I've ever seen, oh, Angelina. You're the finest girl I've ever seen, oh, Angelina.
Welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and here we are ready for round 2 of 3 of this store tournament. We're going to be going over. We got 2 new amazing deck lists, something I've been super excited to cover ever since I saw this thing come out there. Let it play, man. Yes, the Boogie Woogie. I guess I'm really enjoying the little tunes that I have in between the breaks here. I really enjoy it. Those royalty-free music songs, I guess sometimes are just definitely worth the hip hop, you got to do what you got to do to keep the breaks short, right, guys? Keep you guys entertained a little bit. But we do have some great content coming your way now with the actual One Piece card game. I have been super excited. I saw this thing. I knew this was probably going to be one of the strongest decks, but I also knew it was probably going to be one of the decks that was really going to challenge players to have to think a little bit more critically than they're used to thinking in some of these card games. And it's when this leader comes out, and you guys understand what Marshall D teach, this is a very, very strong leader with a lot of great power. And it already was pretty strong with the black and turning off on plays. Now, black yellow, it's got a lot more plays, a lot of different interesting synergies, and a lot of ways to answer the current meta that we're dealing with right now. And it is on the precipice of being possibly one of the neat new purple and Nell type decks where the quality of the player will really determine how well this deck performs. And this deck's going to be going up against the blue yellow Nami, right now the queen of the meta, the #1 ranked according to most rating services, and most of the analysis has been done on the server, the sim, if you will, to determine which one of these decks happens to be the best performing. And the blue yellow slop has actually been one of the best performing. Now, I will stipulate that if you do decide to play with that deck, you are going to be playing a lot from your life, so better hope the triggers are in your favor. There's a lot of luck when it comes to blue yellow Nami. Let's see if luck can beat skill, at least in my opinion, and this next yellow matchup mirror between Blackbeard and Nami. All right, starting off here, we have Marshall D teach 5,000 power for life on opponent's turn. All your opponent's characters, or all your characters, sorry, gain +1 cost. So nice little anti-black capability. I don't know how often this was really gonna be that relevant, but it's nice you have it just in case we get smokers or something else decide to come back in the format and you really need that +1 cost to protect yourself. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may trash 1 card with trigger from your hand. Change the target of an attack to a leader to one of your Blackbeard type character cards. So it's kind of like the Rosinante where it was self-sacrifice, but in this reality, Marshall D teach just sends you over to kill one of his little squad members. Very, very accurate if you understand how this leader works. All right, starting off, we have the constant searcher at once per turn searcher here of Lafayette. Looking at the top 5 and adding cards to trash. I'm sorry, is that bottom of the deck in any order? The bottom of your deck in any order. Sorry, this one would be too powerful if it was trash. But we do have the 1 cost Van Augur here on opponent's turn on KO. If your leader has a Blackbeard types, draw a card and give it to one of your opponent's characters -3,000 power during this turn. So nice little card to redirect at. You can draw a card from that redirect for that you already had for the discarding a card for the trigger, and -3,000, so you can stop 2 attacks. Really good. Lonely, good to see you. Then you have the Vasco shot here at 1 cost. On KO, draw a card and rest up to one of your opponent's characters a 6 or less. Another one to really kind of turn off that opponent's turn, making attacks a little bit more difficult, because if you attack in the wrong order, any of these little 1 costs that are just going to get like KO'd and knocked out are going to really disrupt your board. Dock Q on KO if your leader has a Blackbeard type card, draw a card, and KO up to one of your 2 of your opponent's characters that cost 1 or less. Really good against those weenie decks. Really good combo against the Goofy deck, which is probably why this thing's sitting just a little bit higher than the Goofy deck, because this is a very devastating card, and 2K. Going to Katarina Devon, our first 4 cost. When attacking, select up one of your opponent's characters. This character's base power becomes the same as the selected characters. This one can be absolutely devastating in the top end, because you realize that you could basically take in the late game, this thing can be a 12K attacker, and pretty devastating for a 4 cost and a 2K. Of course, we have the trigger from Baby 5 to get a nice little 2K, but a nice little hand draw from here. Always a really good trigger from life. It's almost says Doc Q is mostly the 2K, but very good into a Nell more than Luffy. Oh, I can see that. Absolutely. No, I can absolutely see that. Yeah, Nell could pop in 2 of these things, but yeah, it's situationally good in certain decks, but most of the time it's a 2K. Thanks, it's small. Appreciate that. By the way, the pilot and creator of this deck. On KO, if your leader has the Blackbeard types, draw a card. Then, if one of your leader's character's base power becomes 7,000 power during this turn. So, a nice little bump to Marshall D teach up to 7K if this one decides to get KO'd or redirected into the KO. Then we have the blocker Shiryu. If your leader has Blackbeard types, this character gains blocker and +4 cost, so a nice little 8 cost blocker. And on KO, if your leader has Blackbeard Pirates type, KO to one of your opponent's characters at base 4 or less. It's a nice little counter, killing something at 4 costs or less, which is quite relevant in this format today. A lot of targets this thing can KO. The new Shiryu on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add up to 1 Blackbeard type card with a cost of 6 or less from your trash to the top of your life cards face up. So this is really nice. Trash a card and put something up there, guaranteeing one of these triggers that you might want to have, which are pretty devastating. A lot of draw cards, a lot of things that activate the on KO effects. Really devastating stuff here. You got the right trash. You've got a nice little toolbox working here. Now getting into one of the more powerful martial teaches. This is the secret rare that released on play. Look at the top 3 cards at the top of your deck and add up to 1 card to the top of your life cards. Place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. You don't have to reveal it. You just add a card. Set up your life here. And trigger, negate the effects of one of your opponent's characters during this turn, then KO to one of your opponent's characters that cost 5 or less. So instantaneously turn off some of the effects of something. Maybe it has rush, maybe it has a character rush, or maybe it has something else that you want to turn off for the turn. Pretty effective, and a nice little trigger you can get from life. That one, and of course the 10 cost blocker teach, and this 10 cost hero we'll get into a minute here, but we have the blocker teach. This one really good about freezing one of your opponent's attacks and turning off the leader ability for the turn. This has always been a devastating card, and even especially in the other Blackbeard, you chain these back to back, you were going to win the game. And now we have this other Blackbeard 10 cost promo 100. When attacking, negate the effects of all your opponent's leader and all your characters during this turn. This is a disgusting card, especially against the Bonnie deck here. Basically turning off all of the abilities of that and giving yourself a 12k body, which is absolutely disgusting. We have My Era Begins with the main. Look at the top 3 and then trash, reveal up to 1 Blackbeard type, except for My Era, add to hand, trash the rest. So you have your nice little searcher. 1 cost here, main, your leader's Blackbeard types, added 1 card with trigger, other than Black Vortex to your hand. So you got some search events here. We don't need the Jesus Burgess combo like we did in the normal black one. Be surprised if that doesn't come up and become relevant as like 1 or 2 of, given we are still pulling full lead, which helps us fill up the trash. But it looks like they're powerful enough with all these trigger cards. The biggest downset to the Jesus Burgess black is it doesn't have trigger. And you really want to be playing heavy trigger in this black-yellow deck. Main, if your leader's Blackbeard types, negate the effects of one of your opponent's characters during this turn, then the character gains +4 cost. Or kill KO character at 4 costs or less. Good removal, good situational. And the card that, I'm telling you, this thing just drives me insane here. Zah-ha-ha! Let's see how accurate I am to the actual. Let's see. Oh, you guys can't hear that. One more time. One more time. This one, if you have 10 Dawn cards on your field, play up to 1 Martial D Teach. Then, have your opponent add a life to their hand. Insane. Insane. So not only can you play any of these Blackbeards right here that you want to from life for free, you're also taking a life with this card. Absolutely devastating if you have the opportunity to play this card. I am Whitebeard for Teach, and I think it's so appropriate considering he kind of like lived in the shadow of Whitebeard. So it is absolutely appropriate that they gave this power up there. Itsamol says, I was testing the promo this week. It has since been removed. Okay, so the promo's not that good. Okay. Probably situationally good. All right, it's good to know that you removed this one. And some black-yellow decks run Burgess, but I don't at the moment. Yeah, so I know some could. There is some trash building here. You do have capabilities to fill up your trash. You got full lead stage if you want. You have other ways of filling this up with the triggers and whatnot, but it's not a bad card for 4 cost and trying to bring it back, but this deck is a long way away from Kuzan sacking to bring that Burgess back at 8k power and just swinging Burgesses at you. And it's kind of like build its own toolbox around the triggers. And we're going to see how this one does against Nami and blue-yellow. Good stuff. So this one even trying itself, some of the new cards here. I noticed that Mad Villain put together some interesting card types here. And I'm just going to do some callouts because most of you guys have seen it by now. This card is really just all about having the right triggers in life. You got the ability to get your leader to 7k if there's a Dawn attached by trashing a card from your hand. And of course you get to draw whenever you or your opponent takes some life on those turns. I'm sorry, we got some chats here. Hennekin says, I got the alt art 2 days ago from a random deck. Hate Teach though. The art goes hard though. Hannah, the art goes hard. You gotta agree. That card is absolutely insane. I understand that you're not a big fan of Teach, and that's all right. I'm not a big fan either, but that art is just golden. And I agree. I'm sorry. And I didn't even read it, but Itzamol is absolutely right. Yeah, it's a great looking card. All right, so we do have the blue-yellow. Of course, we're playing the Thriller slot because why not? When you have this ability to play these cycles with the blue-yellow slot, you play it. Nico Robin that you don't want to kill because it will deal damage. One of the really cool additions here, I like this Mr. 3 Galdino. This one is showing some powerhouse and Buggy and the Goofy deck, the green-blue Monkey Luffy deck. You may trash this character, draw 2 cards, and then freeze a character. It's kind of nice. You get a 5k swing, sack it, draw 2 cards, and then kind of freeze it like a boa. It's pretty good. I think this is a really strong card. I've liked this thing since it came out, and it has 1k counter, so there's a lot of utility with it. Of course, the dumbbell monkey, the Luffy that we talked about already, is really strong. Putting a lot of work for a lot of different people here. Blocker Beard, always just good. On play, get to draw 2 cards, trash 1, and then take 2 Dawn, add it to your leader, and 2 Dawn and add it to some of the character. You have the gain life from the Martial Teach. Again, this one's not leader locked, so you can add the top 3. You can add whatever you want into life, and that's extremely powerful when you can pick any of the 3 cards. You got to put your opponent on notice that you could legitimately have any of the engines starting from life with a choice life add like this. So really good add here. I'm kind of interested to see if Mad Villain went with a Zihaha limit combo, because I know some people have been playing Koala and other yellow decks to try to fit that 2-card combo in, but I don't know if it's really a good idea to kind of like pigeonhole that combo into a deck that's not really focused around Martial Teach. They're gonna hit more often, obviously, in a Teach deck than you are in a regular deck. So it seems very risky to play the event here, and then also to hope that you have this in hand in order to get the play out there. Oh, Ismail has one too. Congrats, man. That's a great poll. And Anna says yellow cards are and not being leader locked name a more iconic duo, right? Anna, you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things that just drive me insane. Not leader locked. It's not leader locked. Why would you do that? Like, there's so many of these cards that are just absolutely disgusting. Of course, Silver's ready to enter some of the board state in the game that we're playing right now. Not really much else to call out. This deck is pretty standard. Marco Blocker, Edward Blocker. You were playing the Thriller slop. If there's something to surprise you, let me know. I'll call it out. But this deck really hasn't... the only evolutions I've really been seeing this thing is like some random additions of some really good quality blue and yellow cards that happen to be added in. And it's really... this is what this deck is, guys. It's blue, yellow, good stuff. So... let's get our match on with Greg and Mad Villain. Mad Villain on the play, giving Greg the even, which makes the most sense. I imagine Greg won the die roll on this one, because even for Martial Teach is a very good start. Great way to get up to 8 Dawn as quick as possible to start the engine with the other the Martial Teach. And starting off the full lead, already pretty good here. Going to discard, look at the top 5. Good look at a good target here. So very, very, very good start for Greg, getting the stage right out in the beginning. And Sanwan Wolf, the next play, so it could be the card we're going to see next turn. Oh, and Isabel does confirm he did win the die roll. Thank you. I imagine that would be the choice if you're in this situation. Martial Teach, a lot like Yamato, wants to be on the even curve, wants to get to 10 Dawn as soon as possible. A lot of the best cards and impact cards are even numbered. And Blue Yellow Nami kind of just all over the place. 8k swing coming into Greg. Imagine this will be a quick take. Yep, easy take for the first life here, especially if you're going to dedicate that much Dawn. But of course, this does mean Mad Villain gets to draw on the take here. So down to 4. Do we see the Sanjan Wolf that we just saw pulled off the top or something else? We'll see. Greg's turn. Going to start for a search first. Discarding. The 4-cost Shiryu Blocker. Looking at the top, grabbing 10-cost Block Beard. I like that. Like that. Means he probably has a Zihaha in hand. Possibly, given that caller. But we're going to go for some extra bodies this time. Lafayette going to go for the quick search. I like this. Got the Constant Searcher. This means Mad Villain going to be incentivized to lose his attack to trying to get rid of this, especially considering he has nothing on board to put any pressure here. And a nice little good start here for a nice little redirect target. And 2k counter for Greg. We'll see how he plays this out. 2 more Dawn. Could go in for the 7k swing. Does so, knowing that Mad Villain really only has to discard 1 card to block for the 7k, but now he's going to have to discard and give an additional card if he wants to use leader ability or just give up the 8K if he has it. It's going to give up a nice little Perona, and I believe that's a 2K, or if not, it doesn't matter, he's using leader ability. Either way, 3K was given up to the 5 Dawn turn for Mad Villain. Draws for turn here. Got to add something to the board state. Imagine Nami be the best. He's tapping 5. Is it a Nami? It is. Nami, take a life here for Greg. Gonna have to add to hand. Such powerful cards, these yellow cards. Just that one not even being leader locked. Just constant pressure with that. Adding the Dawn, of course, with the Nami ability, which gets the Nami active. So such good synergy here. Amazing Nami is synergizing with Nami, right? Who would have thunk it? 6K into life, looking for 2. I imagine Greg has a 2K counter for this one at least. Probably wants to take less hits as possible here, given he is going to be probably taking a lot from the yellow hit. Direct life point hits. 6 Dawn turn here for Greg. Good board state. Hasn't had to activate leader ability just yet, but also hasn't had a great target to do so. Greg probably a little bit surprised that Lafayette didn't get the absorbed attack here. Full lead going to be a first search here. Got perfect searches here. Discarding the blocker beard he picked up earlier. Interesting. See what we get out of here. Get a Van Augur 1 cost from life here. All right. Looking to stop some attacks if necessary. Full on tap out. Going for the new Shiryu, which is going to put a Blackbeard from trash after he pitches into life. Looking like he wants to get the Katarina Devon trigger. And put it face up. Sadly, not going to get a search from the Lafayette, but it's all right. Probably going to see a 5K swing, because why not? Even though he can to discard to get out of it, who cares? Gets a counter out of hand. Got to get it out. Mad Villain with the option. Discard any card if he wants to for leader ability, or just discard a 1K. Gives it Nico Robin. Now on a 7 Dawn turn here for Mad Villain. 2 Namis to swing with. Beautiful Dawn. Gosh, I miss those. I really wish we could do like a reprint run of this EB set, the Heroines edition. Can we petition Bandai to please do another reprint run with that? Don't reprint the current set yet. Maybe soon. There's rumor that they're reprinting the set now. Reprint the Heroines, man. All right, now I'm automatically saying, nope, not going to let you get that trigger. So devastating here. Just yellow preventing what yellow does. Ugh. All right, getting the rest of Dawn, putting it underneath the Nami that hasn't attacked yet. Smart move here. Get a 7 and a 5. Like that math. 6 and 6, just a lot easier to counter out of, if you will. Mad Villain trying to get the maximum amount of cards out of hand here. Now going 8. Interesting. Probably would have saved that for something else here, but here comes 8, looking for 3. Or for 2 2Ks. Or a take. We got 1 and 2 2Ks. Greg's deck, a lot of them. Here comes another 6. Magi's probably going to block out of this one as well. Or counter out of this one as well. Yep, there's a 2K for the baby 5. Back to Greg. Now at the 8 Dawn turn. If he has a Zia, this would be the turn to play it. Definitely needs to turn the tide, because right now Mad Villain currently in the power seat here. And Shiryu going after one of those Namis. Saying, I bet. Play a 6 cost. Play a 6 power. Play it. I dare you. Play a 6 power. I know a lot of people don't like to swing into this one, but sometimes they don't have it, guys. Make them have it. We'll see if he has it. Or if he counters out. He does have the option to counter out still. But if you guys have seen the blue-yellow, they don't always have the card to play. Luffy's too high. Those are all 7K bodies. I don't think he, like, I don't know if Kumana is a card that he wants to play out of this thing. It's also, you don't want to play the Ziha on 8 because, oh, you wouldn't activate the event. That's right. That's right. You got to be 10 Dawn. I'm sorry. Thank you, Itsumo. Thanks for the correction. So for the last play, I redirected to Shiryu and 1K'd. Oh, okay. That's what happened. Okay. So on the swing, he redirected to Shiryu and then 1K countered out of it. Sorry about that. And thank you for the correction. It's small. Really appreciate that. 8 Dawn turn, so we're going to get a life heal from the... Yes! Get our top life heal. This one not going to be known, so now Mad Villain has to play in the unknown. One of those 3 put the top of the life here. 5 in a life, looking for a discard from Mad Villain. Or a possible take. Perona is in life, so he could just take this one, activate that Perona, and start getting the Thriller Slop engine going, and he does. Yeah, gonna freeze the Shiryu, but doesn't really do much anything. Anyways. Puppy Caro, welcome back. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. I'll add you to the wheel very soon here. This is game 2 of 3, puppy. All right, 9 Dawn turn from Mad Villain. See, what you want to put out? Game surprisingly winning a 3-3, which is a huge turn of events here. Greg was in the back seat at 2-4 life here, and now suddenly sitting in more of an offensive turn. Next turn going to be at 10 Dawn, so a great opportunity to start taking it in advance if he has some of those extra blocker beards from life or from trash, like the one he put in trash. Has some great ways to start taking the game in the late here. Here's our 8 cost. Mad Villain going to play his own Gecko Moria. Going to get something back from trash here. Getting a Perona, freezing the Shiryu. Now it's actually going to freeze it. Greg saying, did you want to freeze it after you froze it? But yeah, the freeze would have been already used up by the time it came into it. Here comes 6. Nope. Here comes 5, I believe. Yep. Gonna get the 1K. Does have the opportunity 6 to go. Can redirect. Decides to take. He knows what it is. Trigger Van Auger. This one gonna reduce the attack of the leader and draw a card. Already taking it out. Since a great call from Greg here. Great timing. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is the big brain stuff you have to be thinking about. You need to know what's in your life, what your possibilities are, and how to sequence it. He put this in life. He made sure that the Dawn was allocated before activating the trigger, going to life here, and making sure that that 1 Dawn added from Mad Villain there, it wasn't going to get any value for an additional swing. And that's why I'm telling you that this is a big, big brain deck here. You really have to be thinking about how you sequence, when to take the life, how to take the life. We're like making sure that you are actually preventing an attack if you can. Katarina Devon, the search for the full lead. All 10. Here comes Blocker Beard. Gonna freeze up a character, probably Gecko Moria. Turning off leader ability, so it means no longer can Mad Villain discard to get out of this. Okay, I was going to say the 3000 should not be active anymore. But it does mean that Mad Villain does not have the opportunity to discard for a quick 7K out. So here comes 5. He's going to have to give up 1. No discarding non-counter cards this time. And of course, we do have an attack from Marshall to Teach coming in here soon, too. Mad Villain turn it upside down. Just a reminder, he can't swing with it next turn. It has to be counter. No, that should be turned off. Greg, help me out if I'm wrong here. But shouldn't the Marshall D Teach turn that off? Oh, Greg told me he misplayed. Okay, my apologies. Tony Chopper. Yep. All right, sorry, I forgot completely that you did mention that there was going to be a misplay on this one. So yeah, that is not actually a legal play, given this Marshall to Teach. Hopefully this won't make a huge determinant on the outcome of this play here. But here we go, 10 Dawn turn for Mad Villain. See what he's got. Galdino. Thank you for the comment. I won't say it out loud for those at home might be watching the YouTube video. Mad Villain needs to go up to 10 Dawn here. This is his 10 Dawn turn. Hopefully he'll remember it. But right now needs to think about how he's going to play this turn. Looks like he's got a couple characters he can play. Bell Luffy, not terrible. Galdino, not terrible. Could instantaneously lock down this Marshall to Teach if he wants to. Preventing a big 12K swing in here. Given he is getting low on life, it's going to behoove Mad Villain to find some way to stop all these attacks from coming through. He's got massive swings. We got a Shiryu, Marshall to Teach, 8 cost, 10 cost. Has leader ability. Greg with 4 cards in hand. If he just so happens to have a Zihaha and another blocker beard, this game could be absolute lights out here for Matt Villain. Yep, finally remembering at the 10 Dawn turn here. Sorting it out here, trying to figure out what he wants to do for a turn. Getting out some blockers might be helpful, but I didn't see a whole lot of blockers in hand. We've seen the Nico Robin, we've seen the Bell Luffy, and we've seen what looks like the Mr. 3 Galdino. And honestly, that's probably the best option Matt Villain has right now. Obviously, going offensive could work, but don't forget, Greg does have the opportunity to discard and redirect one of those attacks into Shiryu or Marshall to teach. So one of them is just a free swing, or a free counter. And gets a blocker with Borsalino. Okay, good. Get some heal here. Discard, get a heal. Got a blocker out here. Still has room for the Galdino, so can still play that to freeze up for a turn. Kind of putting Greg in the back foot, preventing him from going too offensive. Especially now with 3 life, it's going to be a little bit harder for Greg. Of course, Zihaha could really turn the tide as well. Let's see, 5 in a life, looking for 1. Greg could try from life here, or could redirect. A little early to be doing the redirect, but could do it. Gonna take. Trigger. Does have a trigger. All right, locks that thing down. KO the Nami. Here comes 5K. Going to get a free block. Now still has an opportunity to discard a card and redirect the attack of the Nami leader. So if he tries to go 9, he's just going to be eating the 12. Not a lot of great options here. If I'm Mad Villain, best option here, get out Galdino, draw the 2 cards, freeze the blocker teach, and hope to survive one more turn. Because Greg definitely with an extremely offensive capability here, and also the capability of getting rid of this Borsalino with so many different cards here. We'll see if he has the card combination to do so, but could easily get rid of this blocker. Here comes 4. Looks like we are going to see Mr. 3 Galdino hit the field. There's the 5th character. I imagine we're probably going to immediately see it sacked. It doesn't have time to swing with this. Early game, it's really good because you can swing with it and then activate. But right now in the late game, it's going to have to be an activation now if Mad Villain wants to survive next turn. A lot of cards Greg can just come out of nowhere and just clean house this next turn, especially if Mad Villain doesn't get any good triggers. All right, like we said, going to draw the 2, and it's going to freeze Shiryu. I didn't think that was cost restrictive. That's not cost restrictive. It can stop the blocker beard, right? Oh, he's going. All right, there we go. That makes sense, just in case Greg would have used this as a blocker anyways, so try to get rid of a high attack here for Marshall to teach. Good choice here by Mad Villain. 1 extra Dawn to be underneath the leader, coming in for 6. Greg has the opportunity to just discard to redirect. Either way, looking pretty good. All right, Greg back up to 4. Does have the full lead to start getting a search. I love this. It doesn't require any Dawn, so Greg gets to get maximum amount of information, get the right cards, see how he wants to play this out. Signing in with the pick, putting the rest of the 2 in the bottom of the deck. 10 full Dawn, still access. Massive swings here capable. He could start going board here because these Piranhas don't really have a whole lot of targets here to freeze. So after Shiryu attacks and kills one of them, not going to have much left. Already spent all 10. This is another blocker beard. It is. Turn off leader. And stopping Gecko once again. Here comes leader. Do we get a Borsalino block? Hopefully Mad Villain remembers this time he can't just discard to get it up. No. Greg reminded him this time. Catches it. So now Mad Villain in a kind of a pickle here. Doesn't have the leader ability to kind of to get up that 7K, so he's going to have to give up the cards. It's like we got the 1K counter from Rayleigh, 6K into life, needs 2. Mad Villain might be able to take. There's a lot of bricks in hand here. Might have to rely on life. Looking at it. Do we got a trigger? We do have a trigger. Gecko Moria. Do we have a trigger in life, or do we have a card in life that we can bring back to heal? Or is he just going to take it to hand? Risky business putting a no counter in hand right now. But maybe he doesn't have any cards so he wants to bring back. Should be able to get back anything that's a 4 cost or less. We're going to see what he chooses. Or 5 cost or less, I believe. See what he's looking for. Looks like he's found an answer that he might want to get. See what that choice is. Freezing no longer an option here, so good sequencing here from Greg. Could go for a hogback just to get an extra character out. Really not going to do much for this turn, but does give him a good offensive turn next turn. It might be his only case of an opportunity right now. Because if I'm Greg, I'm cleaning house right now. I'm just cleaning board. I can't go for life. I can't go for game right now. But I can definitely... Okay, I can definitely go board. So Galdino the play here. That one should be active because Gecko does... It is the only one for Tournamen that does play active. The rest of them do come into play rested. Pretty sure I had that right. Just making sure. Trigger, play it to 1 character with 4 or less from your trash. Yeah, this one comes to play active. Just verifying at home. I'd love to have every card memorized, but I play way too many games to memorize every single card that's in every single card game. But that one should technically be active. All right. 12 going to eat the Galdino. Remember the Gecko, the Marcy Teach was frozen. Publicaro says you memorize them now. I mean, after playing Thriller Slop enough, you usually get pretty good with memorization here. But it really comes down to Mad Villain here for not having played the character straight up. Because I bet you Greg would have gone for Perona anyways. That would have stopped one of the 5K swings. But that's really on Mad Villain because he was reading the cards. So hopefully he'll remember next time. Put the thing active. But one best play deserves another. So I feel like this is just kind of like Mad Villain getting his you know how Karma and Dharma works, right? It's kind of like that Dharma return, given he was able to get away with a free 2K counter on 1 turn with a Marshall D. Teach. Yeah, and Isamo, I agree with you. If your opponent's playing the deck, most of the time you kind of trust it. Unless the effect is like absolutely grossly against you, you really want to read it, but you get a 4 cost back and it's rested, you're kind of like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. I honestly wouldn't have checked him either. He's the one who's reading the cards, so you're just assuming he's reading the cards correctly, especially for his own benefit. All right, 6K to life, gets a 2. Another 6K. Greg's got to survive this turn, but he does have a blocker and a card to pitch for Whitebeard's ability. But if he's able to survive this turn, he's definitely going to be able to close this game out next turn. Here comes 7. Could see the redirect here. Although we do have to worry about the Bell Luffy coming in here. So here comes 7. Greg could be on the take. Doesn't have to really worry about a big Gold D Roger or something coming down to like really screw things up. But does have to think about an unblockable. Always got to be concerned. Now, for Blue Yellow Nami, it's 3 mana that you got to worry about it. Most are 2. Because, of course, like Sanji and Red would give it to you. Of course, you got the black one But yep, gonna go for the block. This is gonna power up the Monkey D. Luffy by 1. So that's gonna be 1K. They'll fix this, hopefully. That puts it up to an 8K. And Greg still has the opportunity to discard and redirect it towards one of the blocker beards. So good play up here. Good heads up play from Greg here. Not allowing him to get like some random unblockable. But should be able to, all things considered, survive this turn. Given Greg has at least 1 2K in hand. Greg has just 1 2K. All right, we're going to split up here. Okay. Here comes 7. Shouldn't worry too much about an unblockable at this point. Multipass, welcome back. Good to see you. All right, here comes 7. Mad Villain going for game here. Asking how much Dawn left. Does have 1 Dawn left. Greg on the take. Good look here. Means all he needs is a 2K for the Nami swing. And he still has leader ability to redirect this Bell Luffy here. But on the take, get a draw card. No counter. Getting a Marshall D. Teach in hand here. Here comes big swing. Redirect. 2K. Does he have the 2K? Can he survive it? 2 1Ks or a 2K. That's the 2K we're kind of reading Devon. I don't think Mad Villain has any more plays. So Greg instantaneously realizing this could be it. Gonna go for search, get maximum information. Great play from Greg here. Good heads up. Don't get too carried away. Get maximum amount of information. Make sure he gets the maximum play here. So gonna look at the top 4 or top 3. Look for a card. Getting Ziha if he needs to gain some life. That is an option. I'm sorry, not Ziha, but the 8 cost Teach. Ziha would be pretty impressive right now. Especially with how many swings we have coming in this turn. We got a 12K, a 12K, a 10K, 8K with Shiryu, 5K with Leader. Greg, 10 Dawn, realizes it's just about math. Here comes the first swing, 9. Or 8. Looks like 8. Good. Gets leader ability activation and then an additional 2K at a hand. Mad Villain should be countering out of this one. It's 9K. Okay, 9K. Thank you. Really hard to see from this angle. On the take here. No trigger. Getting Shiryu just outside the range of the leader ability here. Comes 10. It's going to have to start discarding some of these cards soon. Blocker Beard. Oh, gosh. You know how expensive that SP is? Holy crap, man. You are crazy. It's like $1,000 SP. All right. Blocker Beard the discard to get to 7. Needs 2 more 2Ks. To get out of the swing. Yep, here's 2 more 2Ks. Yeah, Itsamol, you're right. If it's good to say, I'm going to repeat myself, Itsamol. If that is $1,000 Marshall DT or a white beard. Do you have? I wanted that thing. I saw it in the case, and I was like, "Ooh, I can pick up that SP." And I was like, just kidding. I don't have the money for that." All right, 10K coming in. Mad Villain on the take. No trigger. First 12K. Can you count out of this? Needs 6K from hand. That's 3 2Ks. Mad Villain has 3 2Ks. But doesn't have enough for the last 12. No, it didn't have it. He has 1, 2. Nah. Whitebeard Blackbeard taking it down. And there you have it. Congratulations, Greg, on Marshall D. Teach taking down what is currently considered the king of today's meta. And I'm telling you guys, it's all the triggers. Those triggers really didn't pay off here for Mad Villain towards the end. There's a little bit of misplays and a little bit misreading here. That's some stuff that we're all going to have to work on, especially as we keep training and get better at the game. These are kind of casual nights, so people will make genuine mistakes sometimes, and be forgiving to yourself. But hopefully, if you watch these games, you have the opportunity to look back, see those mistakes, and you won't make them in the future. And that's what's important. A nice little quality we get when we get to rewatch these games, kind of look at it critically, see ourselves, and if we do take the opportunity to think about it critically, learn from those mistakes and become better players for it. Great heads up play here. Hope you guys learned something from the way Greg was piloting this thing. Absolutely genius sequencing. I love the way that he looked up through each one of these plays, held exactly enough counter for each one of them, thought through it, made sure he could survive, and close the game exactly as you're supposed to. That is what makes this deck so incredibly hard. You have to be precise like a surgeon with this deck to take your opponent's deck apart and absolutely find the turn to find that lethal swing. And Greg found it at the right exact moment. Congratulations, Game 2 winner. Now, we have one more match left. 2 packs to give away. If you haven't done so, hit the exclamation point join, because we're going to have one match and this to go. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Portcost Ace versus Cam on Bonnie, who's currently undefeated. It's going to be great. Howna, good, thank you so much for that. We'll add you to the wheel, make sure everything's ready to go. After that, whatever these contents may be, hopefully something big, could be going to one of you. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
There's something about you. They used to call me unaware, and I'm holding on to the final breath of air. I used to hang our pictures up by the bed where you used to lie, with all those words you chose to say goodbye. Yeah, it's closer than I've ever been, about your miles away. It's like a love from 17 to the end of days. If you just give me your hand, I'll lead the way. So won't you stay? I stopped playing that same song about the hope you lost back in the suburbs. When you felt the time stay fast, you surround yourself in sights and music just to run away from your shadow. Soon as I let a light, you disappeared into the night. Yeah, yeah. It's closer than I've ever been, about your miles away. It's like a love from 17 to the end of days. If you just give me your hand, I'll lead the way. So won't you stay?
Welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and here it is, the third and final match for today. We're closing up the shop. This is it. This is the third one and your last chance to get one of the free packs I give away at the end of all of my live streams, always within the IP that I happen to be covering. Today, and always on Mondays and Wednesdays, is always going to be One Piece, one of my absolute favorite card games from the Bondi TCG whole marketplace that they have. This game is absolutely outstanding. I can't wait to play it again tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun as I do some additions to my Yamato deck and see if I can take it to a championship run like we're seeing today. And today, I'm super excited because not only are we seeing the awesome genius plans of Cam, who's decided to put together a deck that seems to be very, very suited, well suited in this format, and underrated when you're seeing people even testing decks. Not many people have been testing this red-yellow Bonnie deck, which seems to be very, very well suited. I love to see this thing on camera, and this one's going to be going up against another undefeated, which is a huge surprise, and it should be a surprise to a lot of you, the red Portcosti Ace. Now, I, myself, have to say, I'm sorry. I'm looking against this thing, and I said right from the get-go that this was going to be a trash deck. It wasn't worth getting into. The deck didn't have a lot of power, didn't have a whole lot of awesome stuff to it, and I was like, this is kind of like the weakest of the OP16 meta. This deck isn't kind of anything. I really don't care about this deck, and and as a person who plays like every single red deck that comes out, I actually said I'm going to play Yamato because the red looks so non-appetizing. Not only that, I mean, Spencer is a man I've been trying to get the deck, all the cards for too, and I don't like to compete with Spencer when it comes to Portcosti Ace. Everything that I love to get that out to that man. One of my other fellow casters. So I really look out for my fellow casters, and when it comes to Portcosti Ace, if I had the alts, I'm gonna be sending it his way, of course. But huge win here, and we're going to be seeing this deck who's now gone undefeated up into the challenging round here. And the best part about it is this deck has not been net decked, has not been looked at. This came right from the brain of someone who used all of her ability from the Magic the Gathering knowledge to build a brand new deck for Portcosti Ace, an original build, and we're going to take a look at it today with all of its original nuances, cards I don't think any of you have ever seen before in a normal play here, because this was put together just from the knowledge of the cards in the collection for River and all the stuff that was available to put this thing and make this into a deck just to see, can I make my own deck in this format? Can I try to something that's not out there? And do I need a net deck? And the truth of the matter is, I don't think you need to net deck. We are in an era where we might not even have the opportunity to net deck. And if you are one of those people that likes to net deck, that's okay. I get it. Some people have lives, they have time. They don't have time to look through all the stuff. They don't have time to practice all the different decks. I get it. You have to. But if you have the opportunity, it's going to behoove you even further in any game you play to not net deck, try to put something together and build it upon your own. Analyze the format, analyze the stuff, and see what you can do yourself to build the best possible deck. A lot of the cards seem like they kind of build the deck themselves when it comes out these sets, and even with that, we're going to still see some nuanced cards here, and I can't wait to show you the deck list here in just a moment. We're going to get to these deck lists corresponding. We've already covered, so it's going to be a quick little once-over, but then we're going to get into this awesome new deck of Portcosti Ace, and we're going to see who's going to take this one down. Does the Jewelry Bonnie reign supreme with this brilliant choice from Cam? Or will Portcosti Ace and this very unique build take home the first championship of this OP16 season? Let's find out right now. All right, like I said, starting off here with Jewelry Bonnie, we're going to go over this one very quickly. We've already done this on the channel. We've got a win con here with Goldie Roger. What the deck trying to do? Once it gets down to 1 life, goes to 7K in your opponent's turn, and then you got a lot of cards that make it a 9K for the turn, which is absolutely quite devastating in today's format, which is why I keep complimenting Cam on this excellent analysis when it comes to what to expect from this current meta here. Sorry, I got to get my YouTube caught up here to where I'm live. All right, so just some amazing analysis to say, hey, a lot of people play this Weenie Rush stuff. A lot of people playing this low to the ground, swinging constantly with Yamatos and all the rest of it. What better way than to get a leader that can be at 9K so consistently? We've had the up powers, the Rona Zoro, the Monkey D. Luffy that came out for this deck. You've got the amazing game enders with Jewelry Bonnie and that take a life when it comes into play. A lot of yellow already has a lot of take a life cards, and there's some unblockable engines here with the Sanji, and of course a win con with a Gold D. Roger. I love this as a win con. It does come up more times than you think. Honestly, if you are not playing this card, I still think to this day you're wrong. You should be playing this card. It doesn't seem like it's always searchable. It's always going to fit in a deck, but trust me, as we've already seen in game 1, It does matter, and you have to force your opponent to respect it. So on the top of even the fact that you may not always have it, forcing your opponent to always respect it can make them make bad decisions and put them in a bad situation. So having this in the deck as an additional win con is absolutely a must. I know it has no counter on it. Some people just like to play 1. 2 is my personal favorite. Most of my red decks, I'm always playing 2. It's just a card that I have to force my opponent to respect. And it definitely puts in a lot of work, especially when the decision can often come up in the late game. Do I put up a bunch of blockers and try to defend my turn to try to survive one more turn and try to win next turn? Or do I go for game? And when you got to worry about a Goldie Roger, sometimes you got to force them to go for game. And if you have just enough counter, that could be the answer to you winning that game. It all comes down to it. But that is the Jewelry Bonnie deck now going up against this new Portgosti Ace. And we're going to talk about why we kind of thought this was kind of, it's mediocre. All right. So, Portgosti Ace, up to one of your Monkey D. Luffy characters and one of your characters with a type including Whitebeards with 8,000 power or more gain Rush during this turn. So, activating main once per turn, you get that Rush ability. Red is always about Rush. It's always about beating things down. We looked at this saying, it's like, cool, most Monkey Luffys have Rush or Pseudo Rush or ways to inactivate. Some of these 8Ks, all right, they're okay. It is good that we can get some extra utility out of some of these cards, and there are some new cards that came out in 16 that can be really good if it had the capability with Rush. But is it enough given what we currently have in this format with so many different toolbox decks, with the way that P&L can kind of navigate, the way the yellow can just take life and kind of manipulate their own life and kind of delay? And what are we really doing with this ability when we have things like already they're pretty strong with Nefeltari Vivi? That's a 4-life leader that just does this. It gives anything that doesn't have a win attacking ability Rush. And that's anything. But this one's any Whitebeard pirate type character. So now we're limiting ourselves into what we can actually play in this Whitebeard type deck. And is that going to be too much of a detriment or the right answer? We'll find out as we look through some of these cards. Really love this first start off with one cost 2K. Really interesting. It's a trigger up to one of your Portgosti Ace cards gains plus 3,000 this turn. It's just a 2K counter. There's a ton of 2K counter options you can have in these decks. A ton. But this one going for the mother of Portgosti Ace, only for the trigger for this potential plus 3,000, which can make or break a turn. It is for the total turn, and these effects are actually pretty strong and something that we've seen used with the Usopp that has a similar effect in yellow. But this one being the red 2K, it's an interesting ad. I really enjoy that. We have also the other 2K Lime Juice is mostly used in the red-haired pirates type decks, but it does have a nice little ability to act to prevent your opponent's blocker with a 4,000 power less from being activated, and can be a really cool game changer for these types of decks. Now, no, not every card was known to River. Still reading through everything that's available here. So the themes here seem a little bit kind of like all over the place here, but trying to fit well within the Portgosti Ace theme here. We have the new SR Monkey D Luffy that can also, I believe, be a secret rare alt art here. But on your opponent's turn attack, you may trash one card, and with 8,000 power from your hand, your leader gets 7,000 for the turn, which is pretty impressive. This is really neat. This is a really cool card that came out here. It was like, okay, I have to play with cards at 8,000 if I really want to do this. And most of the Whitebeard cards that are released from the set are 8,000 power, so it's going to be pretty well synergistic. I really like this one, though. If your leader has a name including Ace, and you have 6 or more Dawn cards, you can make this thing a 2 cost. That's incredibly powerful. A nice little 2 cost 6K power in the late game that can turn your leader up to 7K power is actually really, really good in today's meta. And quite effective in what we're seeing run against it. Portgosti Ace, of course, in here on play, you may rest one of your Dawn cards to give this character Rush, and when attacking, up to one of your opponent's characters gets minus 1,000 power during this turn. So nice little Rush Ace that came out in the same set, or this one from the start at 20, the new 31, sorry, the new one that just came out. Nice little 6K power, nice little body, gets the Rush in, fits the theme. Of course, adding the Shanks here, this one was a huge power up for the old Shanks deck because it gives you the once per turn to be able to trash anything to give minus 2,000 power to anything during that your opponent's attack, which can be absolutely devastating and a really good blocker all around. Doesn't really fit the theme, but still has an amazing ability to make sure that you're using some of these non-counter cards and getting some good utility out of them without having the Luffy out to get that plus 2K up here. All right. Of course, then we have the Portgosti Ace here that turns all those 8,000 power into 2K counters, which is really important. And one of the things that we kind of looked at this deck and said, do we really want to be leaning on the fact that we have the Portcast the Ace out to make sure that all this non-counter that we're playing with is actually versatile? So I like the idea of adding Shanks here as an additional blocker. On top of that, is giving us an opportunity to use some of a lot of non-counter that we're going to see in this deck to help save it here. But on play and on KO, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Monkey Luffy and 1 card, or 1 card with the Whitebeard Pirates, add it to your hand and put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So nice little 5K. I love these 5K bodies that are searchers mid-game. You get to get this nice little mid-game search and also have a nice little 6K body on top of that. So really good to have the early game interaction. We don't have that here for this, but we'll see. It hasn't seemed to stop River all the way up to this point. We got the Marco blocker here. On KO, you may trash 1 character with 6,000 power from your hand. Play this card from your trash, rested. So nice little continuous blocker here. And we do have the 6,000 power synergy along with the 8,000 power, which is the other thing that really made things awkward. Star Deck 13 was all about the 6,000 power type characters, where, or 30, sorry, 30, where the leader was all about the 8,000 power. So we're like, how do we play this if we've got all these cards that are playing on these 2 different power types? Notice they are saying 6,000 power. Like, it's not or more or less. It's not 8,000 power or more or less. It's specifically cards with 6,000 and specifically cards with 8,000. So seeing the right cards at the right time does feel a little bit awkward and puts you in a situation where, like, what if you see the opposite side of the deck at the wrong time? It's what really deterred a lot of people from playing it. We also have this Marco here. On KO, you may trash 1 character with 8,000 power from your hand. Play this character card from your trash. So this constant reoccurring 8,000 power character. Really good. If one of your opponent's characters would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may KO this character instead. So a nice little protection card for 6 cost, 8 power, good stats, and an ability to discard one of these 8,000 powers just to keep this thing around for the turn, which is really, really good. Vista, on play, you may trash 1 character with 8,000 power from your hand, draw a card. Downtime's the one when attacking KO to 2 of your opponent's characters with 2,000 base power or less. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Very, very, very good in today's format. A lot of things in PNL and Goofy and all these other, like, weenie decks, even Whitebeard with these 2K cowers that they're trying to wall up with a bunch of these little weenies that they want to redirect into. It will KO them to activate their ability, but when you're controlling when they activate versus when your opponent's controlling are 2 different things. And not having a body that they can swing into using leader ability can be quite effective given the right board state. Of course, we have the Whitebeard 8,000 power, but this one is a blast in the past here from start at 15. Get to 1 of your rested dawns to 1 of your leader cards on play, but then you get to rest this character and KO to 1 of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less, which honestly is a lot of cards in today's format. So this actually doesn't need too much cost reduction at all to get activated. And it's a nice little 8,000 power card that you can give rush with Portcast the Ace. So it's a nice little ability. Give a Rested Dawn. You do have the 8K synergy with the rest of the 8K synergies you need that will make this a 2K counter. And the removal, if you have it, I mean, let's do it. This card was a powerhouse when removal protection wasn't a huge thing. Then, of course, we have the new SR from this set, OP16, giving your leader plus 2,000 power during your turn, but also double attack. And double attack is such an impressive capability. When we saw this thing spoiled, Red was like, oh, wow, that's really good. Really giving Red a capability to fight through all the yellow triggers and whatnot. So it's just really good just to give you this every single time. Your leader's always going to be plus 2K on your turn, and the double attack that your opponent's going to have to counter out of or block out of if they're going to want to get around the fact that they have to deal with taking 2 damage. And most decks cannot afford to take more than 1 hit of 2 damage. On play, you may reveal 2 cards with a power of 8,000 from your hand. Give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 6,000 power. If you have the synergy, looks great. If you have it, really good on paper, but also just the on play is absolutely disgusting. Then you have the 9 cost here that it gives your leader plus 2,000 power. So you can see kind of the similar strategy that River was thinking about here, giving the leader that nice little 7 or 9K body here, making it a lot easier to defend against these swings, but also like save yourself for a turn where you're swinging with these massive bodies. And remember, you can play these things with Rush now that you're playing the Portcast the Ace deck here. So this one would require 2 Dawn when attacking to KO to 1 of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less, which is not bad, but a nice little 10K swing and giving your leader the plus 2K, super good. Making sure that this card has, it like basically overcomes its only weakness, and the fact you're paying a 9 cost, no counter, without Rush. Of course, as I've stated multiple times, Gold D Roger or Gold D Roger should be in your deck ×2. Alternate win con, huge in red. Make sure you're always respecting this card. Card is absolutely devastating. I don't think anything has been out to outclass us to this date. It's why it's one of the more higher price secret rares that's held its value throughout like every set's reiteration. Finally, Moby Dick. On play, if your leader's Whitebeard Pirates type, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to 1 card to your hand. Any card, really good. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order, so you don't have to reveal it. And activate main, you can rest the stage to give up 1 Rested Dawn to your leader or one of your characters. Good utility, good searcher, great card, especially if you have anything else to combo with it, but this is just a very good searcher that sits outside of the game and allows you to look for any card you want to. Now, one of the things that I've been trying to tell River to look into, possibly getting some Monkey D. Garp searches, because that would be absolutely outstanding in this game and give it a little low attack body. Maybe we can fit that in there. But again, River looked at the cards, saw what was available, that had in the collection, made sure that we got everything together, and built this deck from her own mind. That's it. This is a creation of her own. I popped a Roger with Shanks the other day. He was so mad. Honestly, I'd be pretty mad too if you popped my Roger with a Shanks card. Usually when you see the Roger, it's a game ender, but ouch, that would kind of annoy me too, devs. All right, this is the decks. Here we go. Championship match on the line here. Final game of the day and pack giveaway. Let's see what we got. River versus Cam. Heads up. First time in one piece on camera. Most of the time, if you pay attention, River's been on camera for the Magic the Gathering stuff quite often. Played me this weekend, kicked my butt on camera. It was kind of a devastating thing to see that that recorded. But very, very fun all together. It was a great round trip. Good opening hand for River here. Cam going up to 4 life. River determining, is this a hand keepable? Looks like it is. Going to stick out with a 5 life here. And start the turn off. Cam on the play here. Do we have a search to start things off? Imagine River definitely won the die roll here. But nothing to start for Cam. River on 2 on the draw. Let's see if we got a good start. Not a whole lot of early game as we saw from the deck list here, so probably won't see so much of anything but a pass. Unless, oh, we did have the Moby Dick in hand here, so that's likely going to be the play. Going to look at the top 3, add a card, and pass the turn with that Moby Dick here. Yep, tapping 1, gets the Moby Dick, look at the top 3. See what we get. Of course, Cam doesn't get to know that the hidden knowledge is a very, very effective in today's game state. The fact that you don't reveal, that's what's been really super powerful in the P&L deck. You get the top search, you don't have to reveal that card. Knowledge is power and extremely powerful when it comes to TCGs. The more information you have, the better you can play out your turns. And when you don't give that kind of information to your opponent, it's absolutely devastating. You don't know. Are they light on counter? Are they light? Are they heavy on counter? What are we doing? One more, just going to replace it. So we had double Moby Dick here, double search here. So perfect start here for a deck that doesn't have much early game interaction. Gonna look at the top 3, grab something here. Mind you, could have activated to put a Rested Dawn, but it literally would have done nothing. So it's just, if anything, I would have done that just to, you know, just to demonstrate and remember to do so. But Dev says 3 brothers to reduce into Beckman and to pop Shanks. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a powerful combo, Devs. All right, now we finally have a search here for Cam on the from the draw here. Jewelry Bonnie possibly going to pick up another Jewelry Bonnie 9 cost. But see, Cam has to reveal and is going for a blocker instead. So looking like Cam might put out a blocker early here just to prevent the onslaught that he's expecting here from River and the mini rush cards that are going to be coming in the way. Here comes the first swing for 7. River, easy take here. We'll see if River takes it. Easy choice here, but may just try to counter out. Sometimes the mental power here, like the life does matter, but we are going to be on the take. Looks like we have Monkey D. Luffy from the life here. Could be a great turn play for River here to get that Monkey D. Luffy out. Now, mind you, won't get the cost reduction if River decides to wait a turn. But I don't know what else is in hand, so we don't know what other characters we could see play on this 4 Dawn turn. Good sequencing here would be a nice little attack for 5k to test the waters. Cam likely going to be on the take here for the easy swing. Early life, really not that important to it. Cam reminding River about the reduction here because of life count. So it's going to be basically telling River that the whole goal of this deck is to get down to 1 to make it harder to swing into. And that's just how great this community is. A lot of people, especially with new players, and River's only been playing like the 3rd time ever in this tournament, has topped 8 every single time. Every single time. So instantaneously showing that Magic the Gathering does have some great great utility here. But I believe that should be a 6K. Easy take here for Cam. Passing it back. Didn't see the attached on, but I think he saw the power. Monkey D. Luffy already online here. Capable of discarding a 6K power just to give the leader plus 2K for the turn. So River already online. If the 6K powers are in hand, already has that kind of power and consistency to protect this leader from any early game damage. And might be able to get some massive rush on here. But here comes Nami to take a life immediately. Add Arrested Dawn to the leader here. Cam explaining this is going to take a life. So, again, River probably hasn't seen half of these cards that are being played against. And we're going to take a life here. Using leader ability to reduce by 1. And a 2K. Counter out. Passing back the turn. Cam just trying to get down as soon as possible. S6 Dawn is River. We got plenty of cards here. We saw the 6 Dawn break here. A lot of Marcos, a lot of blockers. Could get out the Shanks blocker. A lot of great options here. See how River wants to attack this one. Could be 2 swings here. First one, obviously, going to put Jury Bonnie up to 7K. So, and a little bit early to try to push for game. Can you imagine if Cam just had no bricks and this was just like... or like had nothing but bricks and just had to take both these? Be pretty disgusting. We did see quite a few bricks in Cam's deck, but this is all about making sure this leader gets up there to 9K as many times as possible. And right now, River just has to dodge the Ronor Zoro for the 9K next turn. So we're going to see how River navigates this turn. 6 Dawn open. Lots of options here. Could test the waters. Going in for 6. Testing it for 2. Cam going to immediately take. Put the leader up to 7K. Makes countering a lot easier here. Me personally in this situation, no, I guess it's not worth it because there's only 2 2Ks on a hand. I was thinking like maybe just an alpha swing here to see what we got. But Vista the play, good play here. This one's going to have Rush coming in for 8. Using leader ability. Asking for 2. Mama Sam, good to see you and welcome back. Thank you so much. 2K was countered out and passed back to Cam at 7. This is a turn where we're going to need to see a Rowan or a Zoro if we have one. Definitely need to get this leader up to 9K to make these things a little bit harder for River to swing into. Because River's looking like got a lot of cards here going to make my leader 9K for a turn. Here's the first Rowan or Zoro. Character Rush is active for the Zoro now that Vista is out. So this will be an option to swing into Vista or Monkey D. Luffy. Here comes 6 and a 6, looking for 1. We'll see if River can defend. Look at the cards. Remember, no, doesn't have the other one. Can discard 2K. Here we go. Here comes 5 or 7 into 6, looking for another 2K. River might let this one go this time. Does have to remember, gonna have to protect Vista from another attack here. So let's hope we have the 2Ks. If I looked correctly, I believe River has another 2K to counter, but decides to give this one up to protect Vista, I imagine. Here comes 9 into 8. And there's that 2K. Smart play. Protect the more valuable piece here. Cam on the pass back. Here now at 9K. River up to 8 Dawn. And all Cam's doing here is just reminding River that this leader pumps it up here for the turn that's on play. So we got a 9K. We're at 8 Dawn here for River. We're going to see how we're going to navigate the swings here. No blockers here for Cam. Could be a turn we do some massive offensive swings here to get the counter cards out of Cam's hands. Given Cam doesn't have blockers. Could be a play. Sometimes they just don't have it. Sometimes they just have a bunch of, counter in hand, or no counter in hand. But doing so would be at the detriment to realize that there is guaranteed 3 swings coming back next turn. Moby Dick the play here. Refusa. Boo. Boo what? Boo what? Boo the leaders? There's a championship match, and we're seeing 2 things that aren't even in the top. Well, one of them's in the top. Porkossi Ace is in the top 10. Boo, like I scared you? I was definitely terrified, Refusa. Definitely terrified. Welcome back, though. I'll add you the link. I think it goes. All right, my bad. You definitely got me, Refusa. I jumped out of my seat. I don't know if you saw it. You're going to have to clip it. All right, immediately going to get that Rested Dawn here to the Vista. We already got a 9K swing. We're going to add up any more. We're going to use the remaining 8 Dawn here for a massive play. We'll see. Dawn times 1 gets to pop the Jewelry Bonnie on swing. 9. Imagine's probably coming for life, looking for a counter from Cam. Looks like he already has countered out at this point. As River looking like you're going to get 2 plays here, separating the Dawn into 4s and 3s. 4 could be a 9K swing from leader. Also could be just 2 bodies here. Nope, going 5 with 2 open. Maybe another Monkey Luffy in hand here. Here comes Marco Blocker. A 6K in hand will keep this thing around. And 2 open Dawn. Could do a swing into Nami to test the waters here. Or leave it open. Looks like we saw a pass back. Nope. 2 Rested Dawn. On the Vista. All right, so rolling back here. I guess we're trying to get in a higher attack here. And Cam giving out the counter. Looks like River probably asked if I could take that back to get the additional 2K because did not have a 2-cost play for the turn. And 7, sadly, only going to attack into a Nami. It's likely going to replace itself. Here comes 9. Imagine this one coming into board again. Knowing that River is pretty light on counter here. Can block and keep the Marco alive. Do have a 6K in hand. Yep, the Shanks. That'll keep it alive. Mama Sim, good to see you on YouTube. Appreciate you. I'll have your name added twice. Don't worry. Here comes 6. I'm sorry, that was a block. Here comes 6 and a 6. Looking for 1. Not a lot of counter in River's hand here. So sadly, might have to get this one up. I didn't see another 6 cost. Yeah. It's like we got a Ben Beckman, couple of Whitebeards. Next turn could be some pretty powerful swings here with the big Whitebeards. But no, going to life, excuse me. Okay. All right, Cam. 7 Dawn, gonna put up to 9K yet again. The character rush is active. Did we get a 2K out of life here? It'd be very helpful we get a 2K out of life here. No, sadly, this is gonna hit the yard. And a big swing here for 9. Probably to life here. That one gonna be on the take. Down to 1. Both players at 1, sadly, but Cam at a 9K power. Full 10 Dawn here for River. But needs to get in 2 hits. Goldie Roger in hands, not bad. But it's looking even at full 10 Dawn. We're not going to have enough power to get multiple swings in here. Hey, Hannah, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Appreciate that. It's really, oh, those go a long way. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. All right. So we are looking at what Puppy Caro, appreciate that. Oh, that's awesome, Emo. Is that Inuyasha? I need to get some of the, if that's Inuyasha, I've got to get some of those things when it comes out to when Inuyasha drops for Oh, it is Inuyasha. Yeah, when Union Arena gets Inuyasha, I'm going to need to get that emote. Especially some other sound effects. All right, River looking like possibly going board for this turn, but not great options because both these still at 9K. Looking like we don't have a whole lot of turns to survive here. A lot of big powered cards here, but sadly, like we said, if you don't have the Port Gods the Ace 5 cost out, all these big bodies are just non-counter. And Devs, thank you for the YouTube. Appreciate that. I'll get your name added to that. All right, so going to go up for the 2 open here, which gives Port Gods the Ace the plus 2K, which means we could go 9 double damage, which I don't know if it's going to really do much, but we do get a 10K swing from Newgate. Bobby Carroll says, what is your favorite anime other than the One Piece, since One Piece is the only right answer? I mean, what it do? It is honestly the only right answer is One Piece. Secondary right now, because it always changes, Black Clover. It always changes. It always rotates because there's only so many different things coming out. Black Clover is coming up with the next season. I'm super excited for it. That is by far one of my next favorites. I mean, Demon Slayer is up there in the top 5, obviously. Huge, huge fan. Oh, here we go. River revealing the secondary effect with 2 8,000 power can reduce by 6 one of these Ronar Zoros. So it looks like we do have an opportunity to get some massive swings on one of these Zoros. Look at the one on the far left. Given a prime target here. So 3,000 power. We got a 7K leader. This could be an easy removal here. Oh, Yami is so good, Puppy Caro, I agree. Yami, I love Yami as a character far and wide. And it's just, I wish I had like an amazing answer, but Asta. Asta is still my favorite. My magic is never giving up. It's inspirational. I love it. It's a motto that I can definitely live by. And I know that it's so cliche to just pick the main character, but there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing a good motto of my magic's never given up. And that's the way it should be. Yami got isekai'd. Yeah, sure did. All right, looking at this for another +2. So it looks like we're going to get a 9K swing, double damage here. I guess River saying I could do or die. Any good anime out there that has a good moralistic story to it, that has like some good character and something that you can like actually idolize, I'm all about it. So I'm glad you like Asta too. At the beginning, the voice got annoying. Trust me, I'm with you. Everybody else is like, I couldn't get over that voice. I'm with you. It was annoying. It was incredibly like it was hard to listen to, and but after a while, it literally just grows on you, and then suddenly it's like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. Refusa says Wistoria Wand and Sword is amazing. It really is. The animation, Refusa, for that anime is insane. If you guys haven't watched it, please pick it up. Wistoria Wand and Sword, absolutely amazing. All right, so attack's done here. Looks like River was able to at least clean house on one of those Ronar Zoros, but it looks like Cam knows that this game should be pretty much closed out here. 6K looking for 2. Already saw that there was not a lot of counter in River's hand. So seeing that, but did get a counter on the draw. Here comes 9. This one's probably going to have to be a tank. We all know that there's just nothing but bricks in River's hand here. We do have a blocker. Could try to keep alive, but I don't remember if we have any 6K bodies to keep this blocker around here. But blocking, not going to keep it alive. That means if Cam decides to load up all the way, sadly, that's not going to be enough. All right, on 1. On the take here, River. So Cam still 9 left. Oh, Rush Bonnie, Jewelry Bonnie. Honestly, bad sequencing. That's a bad sequencing, Cam. I almost feel like that's bad manners here. River gonna sadly have to take the body swing, and there's just not gonna be enough here for Cam. What are you doing, Cam? You take the life with that and swing. And then if somehow River counters out of the body swing, you get 6K swing in the end. I think the order should have been a little bit different here, Cam. Shame. I'm just kidding. Great game. Congratulations, Cam, on demonstrating how Jewelry Body is still a pretty powerful one. And congratulations, River, on your another top 8. The third top 8 out of 3 participations making it into the top. It's fantastic. I love it. And no net decking. Completely nuanced deck building. I love it. It's fantastic. Refuser says, Puppy Caro, one of my few anime where the second season are even better than the first. I know, there's so few of them that the second season can dominate. And that was definitely one of them. And Witch Hat Atlier is amazing. Oh, Witch Hat. I haven't seen that one yet. I'm going to put that on my to-watch list, though. Right now, I am on the demon from the other dimension. It's just dropped here recently. Demons from the something dimension. And I'm trying to make my way through it. I got like 3 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. Refuser says, but the first season just ended, and I'm sad. Yeah. It sucks. You gotta wait. And the saddest thing sometimes for me is when you get into an anime and you don't know if the second season is going to be renewed right at the end. So you're like, do I invest in this and then force myself to do what they want you to do, which is read the manga? That's why they introduced it in the anime in the first place. And so you read. It's like, do I want to get up another manga? Because, guys, I am like 5 mangas deep right now, and I'm trying to keep up with it. You obviously got to keep up on One Piece as much as possible. And what limited time I have, I'm just reading the 5 mangas and trying to keep up with the series. Witch Hat has an amazing Studio Ghibli vibes. Oh, I know, but I know. I've seen it. I'm gonna refuse. I'm gonna check it out. I promise it. All right, let me get some names to the wheel here. Good chat though. Keep it up. Appreciate you. Let's get the devs. 502 extra entry. Mama Sim times 2. Let's see what else am I missing here. Got that. All right, names are ready. The hat's been drawn. Let's do the wheel. Let's find out who's walking away with the 2 free packs and what we're giving away today. Puppy Caro says, I am waiting for the second season of Tanya the Evil. Comes out in 2 weeks. I'd waited 8 years. Hey, Puppy, you're going to like this one. It is by far my favorite. I put it in my soundboard. It is actually going to be used in some of the shorts I'm going to be making here shortly and some of the pack openings when I get big hits. Thank you so much for that comment, by the way, and I'm so happy you're a fan too. He says you're going to like this one and then throws an ad. No! Are you kidding me? You didn't even see... I just act... I just put on a whole show for you, Puppy, and you're in a... It was a war ad. Puppy, I just put on a whole show for you. A whole show. And now everyone's going to be like, how many times is it going to push the button? You know what? I'll push it when we get a hit. Refuser says, I'll be watching Tanya. Good. Jobless Reincarnation. Cannot wait. Been waiting forever. Slime at the same time. The new season of anime is going to slap. It really is. Honestly, I am blown away by Jobless here. I think they're doing such an amazing job. And I love the comments on that one, guys. When you get these people talking, it's like, you know the main character is not the good guy. And it's like, that's the point. That's literally the point of the anime. All right, let's get to the wheel. Let's get some pack giveaways. All right, wheel is set. Let's shuffle it up and let's have some good... Wow, a lot of names today. A lot of names today. We're not even live having this. Back from ads, Puppy. You're getting in for a treat once we get a good pull here. All right, River S going for the win. Congratulations. River S, let's see what we got for a win. 1 hit. 1 hit has been pulled from this box, and it's been 1 secret rare. So that means the chances of getting 2 more hits out of this box are extremely high. Again, it was a secret rare. Marshall Teach, not alter, by the way. Puppy Caro, I agree, it is rigged. Can we get a hit, and can we trigger this so Puppy Caro gets the treat that I've been trying to show? Curly, absolutely, 100% believe it was rigged, especially since you were literally like 2 away. Refuser, you're on the wheel. I know, I just added you. just added you. Yeah. You're over. I'll show it to you when we go back here. You're over here next to we have a winner. You're on the wheel, but we'll make sure that I'll show you when I get back. Sanji. Younger brother, Jinbei, Jesus Burgess, Ronar Zoro, Hollowed Glacier Slash, McGuy, the Three Admirals, Sengoku, Marineford, Yamato, and Marco. All right, double rip pack. That's not enough to put the soundbar on. All right, double rip pack. Got to get him out of the way, guys. Got to get him out of there. The community box, got to get him out. Puppy Carl says you should add points usage to 5K to add yourself to the wheel. Only get to use it once a day. Puppy, that's not a bad idea. I usually do, honestly, right now, you can get it on there twice by going to YouTube and just hitting exclamation point join on YouTube. This is my thing of like trying to help get me grow on both platforms. So if you want to go to YouTube, I'm live there. You guys go hit the like there. I would prefer, personally, you see me live on Twitch, but at the same time, I'm trying to build my YouTube presence and get the follower count up there so I can actually get monetized when I'm on YouTube. So if you go over there and you enter, I'll just add your name twice. That's always been the deal for everybody out there. If you go in there, you jump on the YouTube, hit exclamation point join. If you join it right now, you see Perfusa just got second entry, which, by the way, I'll add you as soon as I show you where you're on the wheel. All right, Perfusa, you can see your name is right here. Next to that, we have a winner here. And on the wheel, right here. I'm cooking, so I can't do YouTube. I'll move to YouTube. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. For today and today only, Puppy, I will add you for the twice. For today only. But next time, I do need you to join over there because I'm trying to help the algorithm. Fuse IW. Just to separate the two. Yeah. And I couldn't find it. You couldn't find the YouTube? I know it's Humbro Pie. The whole thing. Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's harder to find because I'm like a slow. I'm not even like in a monetized channel yet, guys. My YouTube, I think. What'd you see my follower counts on the wheel? Refusa here was originally. Like to watch the name spin. I couldn't find it when I was when it was spinning. Well, I did show it to you. I showed you where it was at. But I know it was there. All right, there we go. We got it. We're ready. One pack to give away. Let's see what it is. Okay. Oh, you're just talking about before. Got it. All right, and Sermon with the end clutch here for the packs. Are we going to end with a good pack? Let's find out. Remember, every time I go live, that's yes, a definite rigged. I'm sorry, Puppy. I'm sorry. I will be sending out another one to you someday. Keep showing up, guys. Go God. Is there a God pack? Is there a God pack? Or go good pack? I think it's just good pack because I don't think there's a God pack in here. That's not how you spell Hana. No, right? I said good. You did. As soon as I see that, though, I'm thinking, like, is there a God pack? They need to keep the God packs in these. Can we all agree that God packs should just remain a thing? Why does Japan always get the God packs? I want, like, the God packs from, like, 2 sets ago were insane. Yeah, no God pack in this set. I really wish they had. Like, they need to keep those. You don't need to print too many. You print, like, 5 of them, and people live for the dream of having the God pack. It's just... it's a real simple ad. You're not really going to ruin the meta that much. You add maybe 20. Send it nationwide. You make 20 people's like lives like so much better. If you talk, guys, we've had one person pull a God pack, and Lithium still has not recovered from the endorphins from having pulled that God pack. Like he's still living that high. And honestly, I would be too, because that God pack was insane. But it's just an absolute wonder and a blast to have the opportunity to just get a God pack. And there's just nothing, like I haven't been able to see anything greater for endorphins than seeing someone pull like a God pack or a God deck from one of the decks that you can get from Bondi Games. Yes, they do have God decks, Refusa. And we've been hunting that one. I've seen a couple people pull that one from Start Deck 30. The God deck's out there, but no one's pulled it around our area. I've seen it online, so some social medias. Smoker. Oh, God. Shimotsuki, Ushimaru, Porcastiers, Younger Brother Marine, Boa, Lafayette, This I love this guy. Benevolent King of the Waves, the man that protects Tony Shopper. Hollowed Glacier Slash. Doc Q. Leader, Monkey Luffy. These don't mean crap anymore. Ben Beckman. Oh, Altar Buggy! Here we go! Second alt out of the box, Altar Buggy! Congratulations! That's huge! Sermon, congrats, that's awesome! Let's go! Curly, no! No! That means there's another alt. So rigged. there's another alt in the box. That means we got one more hit left, brother. Alt and I gotta look up the ratios. I'm gonna do it with you guys, but I'm pretty sure alt and a secret rare means that there's an SP or an alt art leader, or manga is always a possibility. Oh, Curly, you wanted it. I'm sorry. Well, good news is you can get this from Sermon because Sermon will not be playing this card. So that is some good news, Curly, and I will let you know next time I see Sermon and introduce you to Sermon because he goes to the shop regularly, and I'm sure he'd be happy to let this go for you. So even though you wanted it, it's fine. Here's your opportunity to get it from him. And I do know somebody else who has a copy of this who might be willing to trade it and will be there at the store tomorrow. Stay tuned. All right, let's see who we're rating today. Huge hit. What's the thing going for? We got to find out the ratio hits are. Told you guys I was going to do this. I want to find out the ratio hits. See what we're looking at here. Let's see. No more dead boxes. Increased gamble. SP's pull rate's no longer consistent. 4 SPs in the case. That's pretty good. Manga cards from regular cases. Unprecedented rates. Standard sets previously offered. Leaders. 2 SPs. OP16. That's the case hits. Ratio hits. Go. I know someone's done this already. Secret rares, roughly 1 in 4 boxes. No. Come on. Where's the one that... So, I mean, this is the highly likelihood right here. This is what we're looking at right here. Could be a 4-hit box. That's pretty good. So, SP is still available. Obviously, the manga is still, like, random. And there's more of them, which kind of makes this nice. So, there's a better chance that even though we've had 2 or 3 different manga pulls, out of the 18 cases, guys, we had 18 cases, and only 4 of them reported pulled so far. There's a good chance we have another manga in one of the few boxes that are left. I think there's like 2 or 3 boxes left for prize support, and of course this box left that hasn't been opened yet. So good chance there's still 2 hits left. Good SP. Can you imagine? Like, you guys are complaining about not getting this one. What if Miss All Sunday's in there? You know, it's like a $900 or say 8-7. You guys know, somewhere in there. Like, it's a high hundreds SP. So that could still be out there. Open link a new window. Who we rating today? All right, guy looking at the Japanese Nationals tabletop. I like that. All right, Ice Loomer might be getting our views here. I really enjoy tabletop coverage. No, wait, here we go. +1 charisma. Let's get +1 charisma. That's some tabletop coverage here, too. I like it. Love me some tabletop games. Get people socialized. Get off online. I know it's good for practice. Don't get me wrong. It's good for practice, guys. But get off. Go meet people. Go talk to people. Socialize. Do what makes these games great. All right, we're going to close up house and say goodnight to everyone. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the content just as much as I enjoyed producing it. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this. I can't wait to showcase what else is in this box. Tune in Wednesday after tomorrow's gameplay to see another fun night of this. And I have a really special one on Wednesday where we're going to go over how correct was I in the market. We're going to review the market, guys. Stay tuned. Puppy Caro, have a good night. Thank you all for being here. And as always, stay humbro. YouTube, I gotta watch the thing. I gotta wait to see I do the thing. YouTube.